You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this Lord. Told that bitches either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm too hardcore. Wait up, let me make a call right quick. I'ma start another war. I was hurting when she left, but I don't care about anymore. I need a Vaseline like my Nina Puffer boy. Took a Zach, watch the door. Matter of fact, like the door. Any problem, let them go. We gon' snatch they soul like Shane Shaw. Put them out of service, keep them tools like Miss Harvey. Try to hope it's way too late. I'm headed straight to the safe. Throw that one up like a trophy. I'm that nigga, ain't no debate. Throw them boys, we taking notes. Call them up like Saturday. This shit a piece of cake. Yeah, my bitches came from Whole Foods. Told them put on that top 3. Then bring me my house shoes. Don't make excuses, make moves. These niggas ungrateful, gotta show them UPK rules. I make hits like I can't lose. They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that business like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, the whole court. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this Lord. Told that bitches either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm too hardcore. Yeah, I just got off the call. I'ma start another war. Spit a plate up with my niggas. Get your knife and your fork. They ain't locked in with the cow. Then when you speaking to me for. Yeah, I just took the floor. Ain't no cowards in my campaign. They can't stop the campaign. Tell them bring the champagne. They know I'm a champion. They can see the outcome. Get them niggas bad. Got them tied down and out there. You can't do with them steps. Them niggas been down since day one. We run up the bands, bitch, like Dylan. They say you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I read that bitch just like a horse. Yeah, about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, we whole court. Yeah, ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this low. Told that bitches either or. I told you niggas, you ain't cut like that. I swear I'm too hardcore. And I just made it go. We gon' start another war. Yeah.
Buck roll.
From Westworld.
Let's get it.
Don't be sure, tell them make sure. If not, we gon' make more. Clips say it hold 20, but I think it could take more. Grab a stick, fire on your camp, we gon' make s'mores. I ain't satisfied with my spot, then I'ma take yours. No matter how many roadblocks in my way, I'ma break forward. This path I'm on is so damn narrow, I just stay forward. Put them on my plate, I'm never full, I just ate more. Put them on my plate, I'm never full, give me 8 more. Nigga, I don't sugarcoat shit, bitch, I'm straightforward. Don't give a fuck if they don't let me in, I just break doors. Ballin' so hard, they asking what team that I play for. Scammer who? They ain't stopped making guns when they made yours. Sick with it. Feeling like I woke up with stage 4. They ain't want the piece loose, what they opened up the cage for. Endure the pain, been through hard times is what I'm made for. Paid my dues, never left a wage, I just rage war. So many chains and gold teeth, it's the blood of a slave. Sit on a throne with a gold crown from the blood of a slave. This is our world. Got it from the mud to the grave. Become a thing in the past, don't be a story in my page.
Still against all enemies. In high school, you was the man that's lost memory shit. Lost energy, never lost my energy. Never lose control, never losing. Dog, I plan to keep you. Lose your mind where I'm from. I ain't talking from what you see. I never lost soul. Losing time, wasting steady pacing. You off track, I'm on that. You pray to God, hoping he can save you. But the power about war, and that's a different angle. This another lost cause, and I'm just adding to the list. They not seeing me for that reason. Got a flash on the grip. Nigga, big priest. They gon' judge me by my increase. And I'ma keep stepping in these joys to the increase. Just got off the phone with Jacob, and he said it's time to shine. Certified, blue dot, put it on you, now you verified. One West world, bigger than World War III. Do not sleep, it's not cheap, and it's still top 3.
So many chains and gold teeth, it's the blood of a slave. Sit on a throne with a gold crown from the blood of a slave. This is our world. Got it from the mud to the grave. Become a thing in the past, don't be a story in my page.
Came on boats and then chains, so when I get rich,
I'ma grab a boat and 10 chains with 12 ribs from each tribe. And each rib gonna have at least 3 kids. Yeah, I'ma have the deep squad. Been rapping since knee high. Now a nigga shack size. Spit that holy fire. When you hear it, you get baptized. One West World, yeah, you niggas know the logo. And I'ma bust it down so the haters see the glow glow. Let's have a feast. Let's shine on our enemies. Right in their face. Let's blind all our enemies. Cause now we have, but we come from half not. Throw that cash on the ground, my nigga, let's cast lots. I started from the bottom, birthed out of mud, raised by gangsters, turned out a thug. I ain't give a fuck. Burnt out I was from hitting licks in and out and selling nicks in the drop. So many chains and gold teeth, it's the blood of a slave. Sit on a throne with a gold crown from the blood of a slave. This is our world. Got it from the mud to the grave. Become a thing in the past, don't be a story in my page.
All right, this is Rudy Speech, man. We got Captain Tywar in the building.
Yeah. Who's that?
Yeah, so Cap, man, let us know where you from.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me, man, on Rudy Speech, man. I break it down right quick.
Don't forget it. One West in my brain, one West in my heart, one West when I finish, one West when I start. Big shine. Big glow, I be gone till November, let my bitch know. I'm back by the winter, bubbling like Crisco. I need my pockets all swollen like a lymph node. Talking out the side of your neck, get you a slit throat. I stay broke, don't care if I got a million. Looking down on me, I put your brains on the ceiling. Fuck kicking down the door, we bout to demo the building. These fake cats all in these groups, I wonder who ya. Shoot ya off your pulpit, hallelujah. 4-pound gun youngin' down like it's a cougar. On my feet, combat boots, or is it Puma? Words spreading around about me, none of it rumor. All truth, very big facts. Very large caliber on very small gaps. Compact pistols, ladders, and all that. About to throw the switch in the Nina for rapid fire. Got the 5.7 equipped with the magnifier. Boom shakalaka equipped with the rim rocker. We ain't really got beef, yeah, Ramak with a bin shot ya. The best rhymer since Pac and Big Papa. Big llama, big juice, I'm Big Jamba. Quarter tank of gas, I ride like a big timer. No infarmer, no sweat, not inside of my conglomerate. Wreck like King Kong. No Asian pun me, no chink in armor. Remain calm through our pain that bring drama. Stay focused on things that bring karma. Took all pressure, applied and made diamonds. Stayed true, kept shit pure, my name honored. Paid all dues and debts and kept promise. Make sure you show respect, pay homage. That I'm one West bred, one West vetted, one West pumping through my blood, don't forget it. One West in my brain, one West in my heart, one West when I'm finished, one West when I start. I said I've been one West bred, one West vetted, one West pumping through my blood, don't forget it. One West in my brain, one West in my heart, one West when I'm finished, one West when I start. I'm the hottest on the market, don't make me start it. I'ma pull up in a Spider-Man and Peter Parker. I remember days was trapping out the apartment. Now one West about put me up in a starship. About to fly the friendly skies in this bitch. Spit the truth on the corners, I lie a little bit. I'm a stand-up nigga, I die before I switch. Down, no we up, I'm cool with who I with. I'ma be war the king and stay dangerous. Hold down the biz and fam, remain blameless. Now rappers drippy with styles we made famous. First with studs and spikes in any city. Design and charge a stack for shit that can't fit me. Had friends on my coattail way before Jimmy. Funny how the general ain't even see a penny. Better show respect, get smoked like a chimney. Keep my name out your mouth, don't even think it. Send a real Smith at y'all, no Jada Pinkett. Both ball heads, my grain a $1.50. Lost my man to the game, that pain that stuck with me. Had to find a cheat code to the street though, cause them niggas getting fouled, shoot you like a free throw. Keep spitting acid like a Mino, and the nigga be the nicest with a mean flow. Try to ride my wave, you gon' need a speedboat. I'm hot like 100 degrees in a peacoat. Scarf in the sweater, I embark every letter. It's UPK, not a part, but together. Homie, I've been one West bred, one West vetted, one West pumping through my blood, don't forget it. One West in my brain, one West in my heart, one West when I'm finished, one West when I start. One West bred, one West vetted, one West pumping through my blood, don't forget it. One West in my brain, one West in my heart, one West when I'm finished, one West.
killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my actions. Yes, you said. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. That's right. One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacles set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe the slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. The fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles will make it official. I'm capturing every crack and surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the brutal show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now. You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slump. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I bag gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in his body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cocktail. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in his dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is served cold, I just hope they make an oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in the world of mad shooters. There was design fire for our babies to pass through it. And the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums. One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Bust their head.
ODing on a beat, Narcan flow. We outside. We outside with it. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in the store, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, cause we outside. Before the COVID had the mess and we was outside. The block loaded, extra mag and it's outside. There's one west for that bag and we outside. We outside.
I got the world in the palm of my hand. One West sleeve stretch, do it live on the gram. Had a whole world viewing. Click and subscribe. Had them niggas off the block, tell them shooters they want a job. I just put them on the payroll. When I get control them, I just mold them like they Play-Doh. Soldiers giving Halo, trying to get up at them pesos. 40 cows send you out of space, Jeff Bezos. And Jeff Bezos, leave you all boxed up. All cause my delivery, I be on that prime shit. Take you time to get with me. Got me like Vladimir. Treat you like the Ukraine. Raid your little city, now you boating like Usain. Scope costs more than the rifle. I got new aim. Fresh kick, spit with the blick. Not my shoe game. Used to have a dirty 30 tied to a shoestring. Now I got the Ruger 5.7. That's my boot thing. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, cause we outside. Before the COVID had the mess and we was outside. That Glock loaded extra mag and it's outside. There's one West for that bag and we outside. We outside. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, cause we outside. Before the COVID had the mess and we was outside. That Glock loaded extra mag and it's outside. There's one West for that bag and we outside. We outside. I don't talk hardly. Be there when you call me. Send them Philly clippers at your head like a baldy. Chopper get to run down your block like a Harley. No, this ain't a big hog. This the big dog.
In your city, swinging through the jungle like it's pitfall. In the water wading, marching to my cadence. Big burst of thunder in my hands like I'm reading. Shitty little combat sounds, but I ain't playing.
Look them in the eye before the war like a weigh-in. I'm up in the AM, politicking movements with that Draco from the vid because it's proven. Waiting on my brother out of bed, he ain't do shit. That's how life go. Win some, you lose. Seen a little nigga beat a big nigga out his shoes. Seen that nigga come back, pull up with a gun strap, rob everybody outside, told him run that. We outside. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, yeah, we outside. Before the COVID had the mask and we was outside. My Glock loaded extra mag and it's outside. There's one West for that bag and we outside. Outside, yeah, we outside. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. We outside, and we outside. Outside, and we outside. We outside, yeah, we outside. There's one West on them corners and we outside. We outside with it.
You know the fuck going on, man. Punk ass buster.
Call me Lisa 2Jeezy. I make that shit look easy. How bitches come and they greet me, they teach me. Bitches ain't shit and they never will be. I still see hoes on my nuts, but they can't feel me. But really though, I'm in beast mode with the flow. And it's 10 in the morning, I get up and this you know that I look into the mirror through my eyes. I see my soul. I see a true ass priest, Prince of Israel. Yes, bro. I be freshen up, wash up, a true nigga. Throw on my goal, it should go, you know me, cuz. Slip out that door with my 4th dimension cologne. Shout out TLC, Israel, you know what we own. Then I call up, cut to top. Wasn't much, just refresh with some young stars. Make some noise with this music, with some lost tribes. Yeah, nigga, yeah. Now I know that times may change, but bitch, I'm still the same. Yeah, and I know this a crazy ass game. They really ain't a thing. And they know that gun gon' bang. Ain't tryna die today. Whoa, and they know what we all gon' say. Bitch, I'm UPK. Hey, bitch, I'm UPK. I can't even think about you right now. Yeah, I'm chillin' with the homies, and you know how I put down. I'm cool and I'm just sippin' while fucking with these little bitches. Ice up on my neck, got these hoes so consistent. It's so relentless that I just come back with stats in my backpack. I gotta make a track. Man, fuck what they're talking about, that bitch is a net. Now I don't smoke no crap, but showing a nigga from the back. I just on the block, now these bitches won't come out. Me and Cud chillin', got Modelos in the south. Niggas be muggin', but I name it in their mouth. Cause they know how Prince Sharp put it down. Down, did it down. Hot in my coupe, cruising around town. AR in the back on the ground, glizzy on the mount. Bitches want water like I'm a fountain. They follow to the house, well shit, this ain't even my house. But top ass bitches, they wanna lounge. Want me dog it out like a hound. But look what I found. When you're up, they all wanna come around. But when you're down, they just kick you on the ground. Lame ass nigga, he that bitch master. Lame ass buster, you fucking cracker. Judas ass boy, you backstabber. Yeah.
Big soldier, nigga, just give me a reason. Fuck peace, getting even. Won't beef with me. Taking over, nigga. Yeah. Let me make it clear. They want the cloud, we want the zone. That's the way it is. I'm about to start a fire. Whole team full of riders. They be dead on the ride, boy. Ain't gon' be no survivors. Big soldier, nigga. Come on, don't care where it is. They want the cloud, we want the zone. That's the way it is. I'm repped out, tell them watch your mouth. For you know we gon' bend your block. I'ma walk in time bomb. I go viral. You niggas like TikTok, yeah. This ain't what you want. Tell them throw in the towel. We make niggas hit the clock and without toe fire, rain brimstone. They gon' think that you live a lie. We ain't got no picks. We want it all. We gon' make you pick a spot. We knocking on the door, so let us in. Or you know we gon' pick the locks. We in the field for real. Every day while y'all just say watch. We making enemies our foot stores. Don't know nothing about the op. It take one try when I rock out. I'm like David when I sling shots. I'm putting attachments on everything. Y'all want me to connect the dot. This drum got 50 unreleased hits. You don't want to be the next to drop. I put them in a box and make that shit double wood. You don't want to be the next to flop. Yeah. Niggas feeling themselves. Get a shovel, tell them to dig the plot. Can't fit you and your man's in it, just tell him get a bigger box. Cause I'll put you in one and knock you out one. Call him my nigga knock. I'll put your song on, cut it on mute, and then tell you that shit was hot. Big soldier, nigga. Just give me a reason. Fuck peace, getting even. Won't beef with me. Taking over, nigga. Yeah. Let me make it clear. They want the cloud, we want the zone. That's the way it is. I'm about to start a fire. Whole team full of riders. They be dead on the ride, boy. Ain't gon' be no survivors. Big soldier, nigga. Come on, don't care where it is. They want the cloud, we want the zone. That's the way it is. Big soldier, nigga. I come in the name of the boss. So my niggas that is wartime, already wait the coast. That point shoot bitch. Red Dead Redemption. Got them niggas scared to whisper. You with us or against us. Can't stop to the zone lock. I don't think get the picture. It come from my head, I'm giving them lead. The preacher give him a scripture. Flow cold style vicious. Niggas sweeter than the missus. Got soldiers posted. I put them on your roof. Merry Christmas. Bring hither and slay him. Got the Glock, got the book of loot. Keep it stick like Dumbledore. Play dumb, I'ma let it loose. Call my gun harmony. Call my main bitch Betty Boop. He the truth, I'ma need the proof. Got stripes like beef troops. Hit his ass like a Louisville. Hit him low, then I hit him high. Bring him home to the umpire. Give him bars like Wi-Fi. Turn the booth to a bonfire. Little bitch, I'm a live wire. I ride like a cocktail. It's on mine when I ride by. Big soldier, nigga. Just give me a reason. Fuck peace, getting even. Won't beef with me. Taking over, nigga. Let me make it clear. They want the cloud, we want the zone. That's the way it is. I'm about to start a fire. Whole team full of riders. They be dead on the ride, boy. Ain't gon' be no survivors. Big soldier, nigga. Come on, don't care where it is. They want the cloud, we want the zone. That's the way it is.
I heard they coming for blood, I'ma be coming for more. Give me the floor, they better come with a mop. I'ma be making it pour. Nigga, I'm raw, fly with the hammer like Thor. Found on my ops in the morgue, tell I'm on four. I'ma be bombing these lanes, understand how I war. I've been the lead, time to get back in the street, time to get back on my feet. Had time to read, check out we came from the east. Wait till my dogs are released, heard they was sleep. So we gon' wake them up, put them up in the sky, the Lord gon' take them up. I take on anybody, think he brave enough. I've been the same and I ain't never changing up. I'm in my zone, hit up my cellular phone, tell me whatever he on. I take that scouter, he on them perks and that powder. Homie ain't really that strong, I'm like a dog. Better yet, Benny King, I keep a lion head on my pinky ring. I keep a shield. Boy, you see everything. G43, Symphony, let it sing.
You ain't too, you crazy. 40 for the rapper, busy man shit, nigga. They take their head off, nigga. I read what Eve did to Adam, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like Samson, I can't let no hoe to lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, all they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying, this shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Suckle up and stay alert. Another cop can stretch the nigga. He ain't demon, this an exorcism. Watch I bless the nigga. You took that open blood, then you know I'm gonna get active with you. From the opposition, I see vision. Let me paint the picture. Rappers can they spin, I ain't listening. Is in fact if revenge was a woman, now I scope that bitch like Jake. So Tower War, we gon' run the summer. It's gonna be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. Ask who run this shit, but their question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crack as hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't do damage, bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it young pay. How you real trigger know them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold leader? When he saying something, I ain't hear this shit like it ain't about who got the gun, it's about who gon' up that fight first. I turn a bad situation to a game change. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chain. Bring shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite the hand that feeds you, you'll never get that hand back. He bitch about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody won't be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. A certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, I with that hollow sign, yeah, this the rim accord. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still up on my bread, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get that boy lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his game, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
Don't let them take you out your spirit, gotta stay focused. Can't go back living how I was, cause it's repulsive. I don't ask for much, that's all I ever wanted. And not killing down behind it, you can quote me. Yeah, these hoes for the streets, they ain't holy. I ain't pulling up as spiritual when devils kiss your boots. We ain't no cowards, please don't say what you gon' do. Or post something on the internet you think you gotta prove. Cause I got Karak Ice, I got Shia War, got Kasarpakai, I got Imawan, got Kabataban, I got Tazaba, got Kakamaima, got Karanyala, got Yaragabar, Tribe of Issachar, bring out Gobble War. Couple young men in this bitch with an olive oil. If you ain't in these ranks, then you out of order. It's a time for everything right now, it's time for war. And I'm still the same nigga when I'm not recording. I pull up, shoot from half like I'm Michael Jordan. I don't think they fit to join the Lord's army. I survived a Christian church, moral of the story. I done beat so many demons, I got war stories. Garment look so hardcore, look like I morphed on him.
Wrap it up, let's get it on. Please be seated. All right, Akim Margwafian. Let's get it on. I'll take your questions, of course, in the room and online. We'll go over our topics today. What are our topics again? I forget.
The Texas Massacre.
The Texas Massacre. Go ahead.
America needs Issachar.
America needs Issachar.
And the Great Migration.
And the Great Migration. There's something else, too, I believe I need to go over. Captain Issachar War. We're going to go over him tonight. Give him a hand. Tonight we'll do a class on Captain Issachar War, all right? Out of the Memphis camp. Am I right about that? All right. Okay, I'll take your questions in the room, Akim. in the room? If you have them, I'll take them now. If not, I'll take some online. Any questions in the room? Can somebody turn this mic up a little bit in the room? Turn it up. Turn it up the volume.
Test 1 2.
Also, too, I'll take the strong in this right there in this coffee if you don't mind. All right. You can strengthen that a little taste for me. The water. Anytime you're ready, Akim, I have your questions. Anything?
Brother got a question online. General breakdown of 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 20.
1 Corinthians 14 and 20. Let's go.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 14 and verse 20. Brethren, be not children in understanding, howbeit in malice be ye children. But
read I'll break it down for you. Read it one verse before this.
Verse 19.
Go ahead.
Yet in the church I had rather speak 5 words with my understanding.
One more verse above it.
So, verse 18. I thank my God, I speak with tongues more than ye all.
This scripture is very important, especially if you grew up being exposed to the lies of the Christian church. The Christian church describes the mumbo jumbo and babbling that's very popular in Black Christian churches as speaking in tongues. Of course, that is not true. Speaking in tongues, a tongue is a language, right? What Paul is saying is that he thanks the Most High that he can speak in tongues. And remember, speaking in tongues, the Water Warrior, was a tool to teach the gospel, right? It was a very important tool to teach the gospel. Speaking in tongues is the ability to speak in other languages that people can understand so that those people can come into the truth. That's why it's an important tool to teach the gospel. Go ahead, Doc.
And it's so deep you say that because you have 5,000 Yatazar with the trip to Akuna, and he spoke in tongues.
Give him a hand. That's exactly what happened. Captain Yatazar can speak in tongues, which is also, it crushes a myth that's been going on forever with the tribe of Issachar, the tribe of Ephraim, the tribe of Manasseh. Those brothers and sisters are bilingual. So many of them can just speak 2 languages, but yet the world treats them like they're ignorant, like they're stupid, when they're bilingual. Some of them trilingual, can speak 3 different languages, but yet they have to come here and grovel and beg some president to be able to feed their children. When they speak 3 languages, do you think Donald Trump can even talk English? He can't speak English, but he looks down on some brother or some sister that is bilingual, fluently bilingual. Speaking in tongues is being bilingual. That's what it means. So if you're from Jerusalem, you can speak in the language of Ephesia or speak in the language of another land. And that is an important tool to spread the gospel. So this is why Paul said this. Read it again.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 14 and verse 18. I thank my God, I speak with tongues more than ye all.
Listen, Paul spoke in more languages than all of them, which is why he was able to travel all across Asia Minor to all of those different towns and cities, which many times had totally different languages because they were ruled by completely different heathens, which is why the Brazilians are not considered Hispanic, but considered, which is why the Brazilians are not considered to be Hispanic, because the Brazilians don't speak Spanish. The Brazilians speak Portuguese. So according to our oppressor, they're not Hispanic at all. But a white man from Spain is Hispanic. So according to what America believes, a Spaniard and a Puerto Rican are the same group, but they are in a different group than the brothers and sisters in Brazil because they speak Portuguese. And Spain and Portugal are right next to each other. Our language differences come from differences in slave masters. That's it, right? If we shared the same slave master, we'd share the same language. Paul spoke in more languages than anyone else in those schools he was over. Continue.
Verse 19. Yet in the church I have rather speak 5 words with my understanding.
A little stronger if you don't mind. Yet I would rather speak 5 words. Go ahead.
That by my voice.
No, I would rather speak 5 words.
I would rather speak 5 words with my understanding.
Keep going.
that by my voice I might teach others also.
Meaning this, yet he would rather just speak 5 words with his understanding that with his voice he could teach others also. Meaning what? Speaking multiple languages is not more important than understanding what you say. That's the point. He's trying to say that's the major thing. The major thing is to understand what you say, even if it's only 5 words, which is why the Israelite School of UPK under commanding General Yohana has a school and not a church. Because understanding something, brother, is more important than having multiple blessings from God and having so many different skills and having so many different talents. It's more important to not be so goddamn ignorant. Commanding General Yohana is at war with ignorance. That's our number one enemy, ignorance. And the Christian church is the largest proponent of the poison of ignorance that has ever existed on the planet. So before you tout how many languages you speak, you should understand 5 words at least. Understand a thing good enough to be able to teach someone. That's the point, which is the point he's trying to make to his brothers. Keep going.
Khan. That by my voice I might teach others also.
You understand? Keep going.
Then 10,000 words in an unknown tongue.
Then 10,000 words in a what?
Unknown tongue.
In a what?
Unknown tongue.
In a tongue that no one understands. Why would you want to speak a language that no one understands? What does the Christian church say about speaking in tongues? I'll do it for you right here. That's speaking in tongues. I just did it. Hallelujah. Make me your preacher. Make me your pastor. Make me your pastor. Give me all your goddamn money. I just did it. Where's the money at? No money? Oh, okay. I guess that ain't good enough in here. Well, why would you say something that no one understands? Which is what Paul is saying right here. Why speak French if no one in the school understands it? Then why learn it? Why speak Spanish if no one in the school understands it? Why speak English if no one in the school understands it? Why speak gibberish when not even you understand it? No one on the earth understands church speaking in tongues because it's a language from God. That's what they tell you, Akim. They say it's God's secret language. Well, then why say it aloud to people? That's the point of this breakdown. Are we at his question? Where was his question at? Brooklyn. Go ahead.
So like, I don't know the question, sir, but so we could definitely use this to cut the Christian church from speaking in tongues.
Always have. Keep going.
Khan. Verse 20. Brethren, be not children in understanding.
Read that again.
Brethren, be not children in understanding.
Once again, brother, here's our enemy, ignorance. Brothers, don't be children in understanding, right? Children are ignorant. They don't know how to pee standing up. They don't know how to not wear a diaper. They don't know their ABCs. They don't know how to cross the street on what light to cross the street. Don't be a child in understanding. When it comes to education, grow up. You want to elevate yourself out of the goddamn witchcraft and mysticism of the Christian church. Out of sage. Is that your understanding? Common kitchen herbs. Common kitchen herbs. That's your understanding. Crystals. That's your understanding. Oh, I'm having a rough day. Give me the Balthazar crystal. Ooh, rub it all over. Rub the Balthazar. That's what you've learned? With all of this goddamn access to education and public school and this and that, the height of your understanding is a crystal you buy offline is going to solve all your problems that child molestation caused. So child molestation caused the problem. Being in a broken home caused the problem. Having a drug addict father caused the problem. Having an abusive and neglectful mother caused the problem. The cure for the problem is a crystal you buy online. You're ignorant like a child. Don't be ignorant in understanding, Asher.
But sir, it attracts positive energy.
It brings the positive energies to you, the positive force. I hear you. You're a child. Brothers, stop marrying children. Sisters, don't marry a child that's a man. Don't marry someone who loves to be ignorant. Be not a child in understanding. Keep going.
Howbeit in malice be ye children.
Howbeit what?
In malice.
Howbeit in malice. Alexa, what does malice mean?
Malice is usually defined as desire to inflict injury, harm, or suffering on another, either because of a hostile impulse or out of deep-seated meanness.
Alexa, stop. Either because of a hostile impulse or deep-seated meanness. When it comes to being cruel to each other, then you should be like a child, because children don't want to hurt people. Children don't want to harm people. Children are kind. Children make friends easily. They go to the playground. You would think they know each other forever. They met each other that day. Be like that when it comes to malice. Captain Issachar War has no malice. None. None. He is far more kind than I have ever been. And today we're going to celebrate Captain Issachar War, the captain over the Memphis camp. He's like this. When it comes to malice, he doesn't possess that. And that's One West. The Christians are cruel, Locke. They're cruel. They're unkind. Christians are mean. They're mean-hearted people. Why? So many of them believe that they have a right to be mean because of their past traumas. They believe that, being mean to people is what they're due because of what happened in their childhood. They've been given the one thing a wicked person needs, an excuse. That's what a bad childhood gives you. Hold your point. It gives you an excuse. Christians believe because of the trauma that they've been through, or just because they're mean. They're cruel like an animal is cruel. They just have something in them that gains pleasure from other people's suffering. When it comes to that, be like a baby. Be like a child. That's the breakdown. Everyone understands. I got to move on because I have too much to go over. What did I post on Facebook was going to be my topic? I think that was it. I can't recall. Next question. Any questions in the room in Harlem, in headquarters? I'm sorry. Let me give the roll call down here. I'll get you 1 second. Who are we with tonight, brother?
We got Milwaukee in the building, sir.
Give Milwaukee a hand.
We got South Carolina, sir.
Give South Carolina a hand.
We got Colleen with us today.
Give Colleen, Texas a hand.
Got ISUPK Mexico in the building.
ISUPK Mexico. Yahweh en el nombre de Yahweh Shai te bendiga. That's a ti, mi gente.
Yahweh en el nombre de Yahweh Shai lo bendiga, mi general.
Gracias, gracias. Orale. Who else do we have?
We got Detroit in the building, sir.
Give the D a hand. Detroit.
We got Chicago, sir.
Chi-Town, give him a hand.
And of course, we got headquarters in the building, sir.
Give headquarters a hand, Jerusalem. I'll take questions from the brothers who are in class with us online as well. Just raise your hands, Akim, the brothers from the other camps, all right? And I'll get your questions. Sister, you up first.
I just wanted to say that I passed my state board.
You did what? Give her a
the
hand.
state
Get her on the
board.
camera. Get the sister on the camera, man. Let's try to get the brothers and sisters on the camera tonight if we could. Tell everyone one more time.
I just passed the state boards and now I'm a nurse aide.
Give her a hand. Good job. Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Good job, Aquaz. Well done. Well done. Come on, in the back, please.
Quick question, sir. Yesterday when we had class, it was like a heckler in the chat talking about the Orthodox Church and how they're the true Church of Christ and what have you. Mm-hmm. The question is, where does the Orthodox Church originate from?
The Orthodox Church originated in Russia after the black people who were the actual heads of the Orthodox Church were killed. They were all slaughtered and killed by the Roman Orthodox Church. They were slaughtered and killed during, I believe, the Fourth Crusade. After they were murdered, then white men went and put on black clothing and said that they're the black Jews that at one time were ruling over that part of the Roman Empire. You need to go back to something called the Great Schism, the Neri against the Galapi, the blacks against the whites. They fought each other. The Roman Empire fought each other, right? The western part of the Roman Empire was run by white people. The eastern part of the Roman Empire was run by black people. Round about the time of the Fourth Crusade, the western part of the empire, after they fought the Muslims in Jerusalem, then went over to Constantinople and wiped out the Eastern Orthodox Church or the Eastern Roman Empire, killed everyone. Monks ran and escaped and hid these icons that we have on the wall, which they call today the Russian icons. Monks hid them in caves and in wine cellars all over Europe and all over Russia. And they hid them there, and they just took care of them and hid them. After that, the western part of the Roman Catholic Church came in and just started to whitewash all the pictures and started to wear black, which is where the custom of priests wearing black comes from, because it's their way of saying, we're the black Jews of Jeremiah 14:2. We're the black people that used to be in charge. You get my point? If you've been to a powwow, then you know what I'm talking about. You go to a powwow, I think there's 2 Gadites there, and the rest of them there is Big Chief Merlstein, Big Chief Ahorowitz, because there are virtually no Gadites at a Gadite powwow. None. Everybody understand? It's like, or I'll give you a better one. Go to a hip hop concert. Do that. And listen to the real hip hop at a hip hop concert, and you will be the only Negro there. The you on the stage and the guy, your hype man. Everyone else will be white. Go ahead.
That's absolutely true, sir, because a couple of years back, I believe it was Officer Shalaya Allah, I think Officer Hazahab, myself, Paratazar, we went to the powwow that they had over in Randall's Island. And if it wasn't for the vendors who were mostly Native American, everyone else that was there was white.
Yeah, that's it. That's how life works. So that's where the Eastern Orthodox Church comes from. All right. And okay, now just so you notice, the Eastern Orthodox Church is nothing. It's I would never even battle someone who battled me about the Eastern Orthodox Church. I would say shalom. I would not talk to him. I would not battle him. He is a waste of time. Have you ever gotten a battle with somebody who was deciding whether or not to either sell drugs or become an Eastern Orthodox Christian? It's a non-existent thing. It doesn't matter. You should not care about the Eastern Orthodox Church. But if you need it, that's the truth of them. Anything else? Benjamin.
So if I may, sir, I wanted a breakdown on Job 9:9.
Go ahead and read.
It says, which maketh, we might need some context with it, but I'm going to read the scripture, sir. Which maketh Arcturus, Orion, and Pleiades, and the chambers of the south. I was trying to find out what the Arcturus was and Orion was, or if these are like
Orion. Okay, I believe there was a constellations. All of those. The Pleiades is a constellation. Okay. Orion is from Orion's belt. What's the other one?
Arcturus.
Arcturus. That sounds like Artemis or the
Arctic.
Yeah, I think that's another constellation. You can just Google that though. Okay. Those sound like constellations. Those other ones are constellations. Give me the context. One verse above it.
Job 9:8. Which alone spreadeth out the heavens and treadeth upon the waves of the sea, which maketh Arcturus, Orion, and Pleiades, and the chambers of the south.
You understand? So meaning he's talking about the Most High does all these things.
Right.
He does this, he does that. The chambers of the south, that one I can't recall. Oh, it's almost there. The chambers of the south. It's a celestial body. The chambers of the south, but I cannot recall off the top of my head. All right, but it's some type of celestial body. Benjamin.
Because also, I was trying to find that scripture where it says I was looking for, I couldn't find it.
Yeah, it's who throweth flaming arrows and saith, "I am in sport." I am in sport is an exact phrase in that precept. You should be able to find it. I believe it's in Proverbs. Go ahead. God did what? Is there a precept that they refer to?
I've never heard them.
Yeah, I can't recall them saying he clapped it. They might be thinking about let there be light. Yeah. Maybe because, the whole clap your hands with the light commercial, like you clap your hands and the lights come on. I mean, you have to ask them. I mean, I don't know what the hell they talking about in there. They're ignorant. Right. So who the hell? Who knows what child story they're referring to, or some ignorant witchcrafty nonsense that they believe? You know, you can walk in there with a wheelchair, and then the pastor will smack you on your forehead and throw your damn wheelchair, and then you'll get up and walk down the aisle and die a week later. That's an ignorant place. That's not a school. That's a show. You get my point. You know, you get a big following by singing. Do you know about that? You can go in there and sing and get thousands of women to give you their money, and they believe they found God because of your singing. That's an ignorant place. That's not a place of learning. That's not a college or a school. That's some type of, ignorant place full of people who only care about sex, which is also what that precept is speaking about. Don't be ignorant like a child, or don't let your understanding be like a child. Children care about pleasure. That's it. A baby wants his bottle because it tastes good and he wants to eat. He doesn't care about your trouble or what you're going through in your day. Children are selfish. They're selfish. You, as you grow up, you should be less selfish. All right, but you struggle with that, don't you? I'm going to help you with it. That's why you're here, for me to help you with your selfishness, for me to make you understand how unimportant you are. That's my goal, to make you really understand how unimportant you are. It's my pleasure. I'll take it if you don't mind, Captain. Give Captain Zaryak a hand. He come bearing gifts. I don't know where you've been the whole class. Next time, get here early, hell. You got to find it. right. Go ahead. Next. Come on.
Like y'all don't want. I have that precept for Proverbs 26.
Please.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 26 and verse 18. As a man mad, Slakia.
No, you can dump it through it. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
As a madman who casteth firebrands.
What does it mean to be a madman? Old English, that's crazy. Right. To be mad is to be crazy, a madman. Go ahead.
That was Slakia. As a madman who casteth firebrands, arrows, and death.
So imagine a madman who's just throwing firebrands. A firebrand is a branding iron that you use to either brand cattle or niggers in college. One or the other. Either a cow or a nigger who dances with other men in college. Excuse me, can I say nigger? I told myself I was going to stop. A HBCU, attendee, a purple. So imagine some crazy man throwing the branding iron. Go ahead.
So, verse 19.
So branding irons. Go ahead.
Oh, firebrands, arrows.
Arrows. He's throwing arrows, shooting arrows. Bang, bang, bang. Go ahead.
And death.
And death. Which is what happens if you get hit with any of those things, right? Keep going.
Verse 19. So is the man that deceiveth his neighbor.
So is the man that lies to his neighbor. Keep going.
And saith, am not I in sport?
Aren't I just kidding? Aren't I playing? I was just playing. That's are not I in sport is I was just playing. So imagine this is how you grew up. Someone tells you something so cruel and evil, an insult, a terrible insult. And then when you go to them and say, hey, well, why'd you say that about me? I didn't mean that. I was just playing. So meaning they were lying when they said you were stupid, you were retarded, that your father never loved you, that your mother is ugly. They were lying about that. They deceived you. They didn't really, that's not true. I was just playing. That's a vile thing to do to someone. The way blacks and Latinos speak to each other, man. You think that's part of your culture to roast each other and to what do we call it as kids? I was too old for snapping. I think we called it busting on each other. It's been a long time. I can't recall, but that sounds familiar. Every tribe does it. It's just going to your friend who you love and degrading him to tears, right? Because you're so close to him. Women forget about it. You can't tell because your best friend is going to talk so terribly about you to another woman, and then when you find out, she'll go, Girl, I was just playing. I was just joking. You know, I didn't mean that because you being too sensitive. I didn't mean that, so you lied. So that's not true what you said about me. That's not how you feel about me. Oh, you were just deceiving me to play with me. That's a disgusting thing to do. That's a vile thing to do to someone you're supposed to care about. And that's what we learn in this evil society. We learn to hurt people and then to think that they should accept it. It's their problem because they don't accept my abuse. So what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Do you care that I can't abuse you every day and you take it cheerfully? I was just playing, not in here. Not in here. That's not something that's allowed in here. Bro, I can tell y'all why y'all shot. We don't roast each other. We don't bust on each other. We compliment each other. That's how we treat each other in here. If that's not something you can do, this is not the place for you. I'm going to show you this is not the place for you. Continue. I believe that's it. Any questions online, please, Jersey. Come. What's the purpose of fasting? Get him on camera just in case. Right? Can we do that easily, or is that a problem? Go ahead.
Shalom, Lord of Christ. Salaki, if I may, sir, what's the purpose? What's the purpose of fasting and how to do it properly?
What's the purpose of fasting and how do you fast properly? Are you familiar with the precepts about fasting?
La, sir.
Okay, let me give you a couple for time's sake. Some cometh not out but by fasting and prayer. You need that, all right? That's in the New Testament. Some cometh not out by fasting and prayer and supplication. Let me sum it up for you in a nutshell. That's the precept you need. That's a good, solid one. The purpose of, let me read the precept first. All right, give me that. Quickly, or else I got to move on.
Matthew 17 and 21. Howbeit, this kind goeth not out, but by prayer and fasting.
There was this demon that the disciples of Christ were trying to cast out, trying to call out, but they couldn't do it. And so they had to come get Christ, and Christ did it. First, Christ chastised them for needing him. Then he said, well, this one you came to get me for, this one doesn't come out except with fasting and prayer. Meaning, if you want to cast this demon out of someone else, you first will have to purge yourself of all your demons. That's the point of fasting and prayer. Fasting and prayer takes control of yourself from your body. And people struggle with who will control you. Will your soul control you or will your body control you? What did Paul say? There's a wrestling in my members, right? He fought himself. Paul said, I keep under myself. Paul was in a war with his body, in a war with it. And that's the struggle of life. Someone give me that precept. That's life struggle. So imagine here you are in the UPK. You want to build a camp where? In New Jersey, correct? You want to go build a camp in New Jersey. That's a dead city. The people there have been destroyed since the 60s, since the riots, the Newark riots. That place has been a hellhole and just derision, just a place that no one wants to go to, that it's terrible to live there, and everyone is just trying to leave New Jersey. You want to go and spring up brand new life in New Jersey. Well, who are you going to run into? Drug addicts by the ton, pill and new drugs, drugs that weren't around during the riots, pills and, oh my God, people with schizophrenia by the ton. You can't even go to camp on the street without interacting with someone with schizophrenia. You can't even go outside and stand there for 10 minutes without dealing with someone with schizophrenia. Orphans, people motherless, fatherless, those people are struggling because they have no self-control. Do you understand? A schizophrenic, there's a pill, that they can pop into their stupid mouth that quiets the noises. They won't do it. Do you know alcoholics? There is a shot called Topamax, I believe. Captain Akkad knows the name of it. You can go to the doctor and take a shot, and it will curb your urge for alcohol. They have had it for years. Never used it until white people started to be drug addicts. Never used it, never released it to the public. Now it's released because of the epidemic, the opioid epidemic. Won't go to the doctor. Won't get the shot. Won't take a pill that finally destroys this demon that has destroyed their life. Why? They can't force themselves to put it in their mouth. Their mouth doesn't want it. Their hands don't want to pick it up. Their stomach doesn't want to digest it. They cannot control themselves. And that's what you're going to encounter in New Jersey. People that cannot control themselves. They can't stop themselves from shooting this guy. They struggle. They think about it. I shouldn't shoot him. I'm going to go to jail. I have to shoot him. They can't stop themselves. Well, how do you cast the demon out of him if there are things that you should not be doing that you can't stop yourself from doing? It'll never happen. You'll first have to control yourself. Fasting takes control of your body from your body and gives it to you. Why? Because your body will demand food. Demand it. Wait till you hear the growling. You've been through the Day of Atonement. You know what I'm talking about. The Day of Atonement is where we afflict our souls and we share in that dinner, the dinner of affliction. That's what we eat. That's the offering, afflicting ourselves. Who would choose to hurt themselves? Your body damn sure doesn't want pain, right? Bodies have an absolute aversion to pain now. Absolute. If you feel pain, you will stop whatever hurts. And you'll do it from the time you're born. From the time you come out the womb, that doctor smacks you, you'll cry. I don't think they even smack you in the butt anymore, but they used to smack you on your butt to get you to breathe, and the baby cries because every living thing has an aversion to pain. Yet you are hurting yourself by choice. Your body is going to say, eat, drink. You have to eat. You have to drink. You're going to die if you don't eat and drink. This is what people say. General, this is the phone calls I still get. I don't know why. When you know I don't care about this. I teach this class, and for some reason you think I have compassion for your weakness when I do not at all have compassion for weakness. But I will exalt strength. But here's the call I get. Well, sir, I'm on medication. Do I have to fast? Because I take a high blood pressure pill. Because I take an aspirin twice a day. Because I take Advil sometime. Yeah, you got to fast. You have to do it. The reason that you're calling is not because you're so dead set on taking your medication. The reason you're calling is because you're dead set on not feeling the hunger pains and the pains of not drinking. Miss a day of your medication. You haven't taken it all your life any goddamn way. Right. Missed a day. You missed 40 years. You control yourself out. You can control other people. That's how it works. Come on,
Salaki, sir. Dawada, but how do we properly fast? Like, is it a time frame or is it just abstinence from food and water?
I'll explain. A fast can be anything that you deny yourself. Anything. Now, if you're a married man, you cannot go without having sex with your wife without her permission, and then only for a time. Right? So if you want to go on a fast without sex, you have to say, baby, I want to not have sex for a while to get stronger. If she agrees, you can do it. If she does not agree, you cannot do it. That's in the Bible. But even if she does agree, that can only be for a time. So that's a fast from sex. You can fast from food. You can fast from water. Those are the different ways of fasting. To fast from these pleasurable things. You can fast from alcohol, right? If you drink, you can fast from food, sex, things that the body wants. It wants these things. You go without them. You can decide how long you want to go without them. Now, if you go on an official fast, meaning if you get your camp leader to approve it, then you're going to have to do it. If he accepts that fast, you're bound to it. Now, let's say you just say, listen, I want to stop drinking for a month. If you break and you fall, I was about to say the vagina word, but if you fall weak after 2 weeks and you drink, that's on you. That's just you deciding to be weak. But if Captain Akkad puts you on a fast, if you call a priest and he verifies it in writing and he accepts it, that oath must be paid. So you cannot break that oath without paying for breaking that oath. But if you just want to, it's like going on a diet. You want to go on a diet, go on a diet. If you break your diet, that's up to you. But if you go and get it official, it's not up to you anymore because you made it before God. And an oath made before God must be kept, or else there is a penalty. Good to go. Anything else in the back? Wait, one more thing. Don't fast for 100 days without drinking water. Don't be stupid. Don't be a dummy and now you pass out dead some goddamn where because you've not eaten in a year. Don't do that because you're gonna anger me. So what should you do? Go ask a priest. If you want to, fast, you want to fast longer than 3 days, you better get permission for that. When I say 3 days, I'm talking about drinking water. You can go about 40 days without food and you'll be fine. But 3 days without water, you're dead. You're dying. So if you're thinking about that, it's because, you're spooky minded and supernaturally minded and all that. And you're a sagey type of brother. If you want to do that, you talk to your camp leader before you go to God for your amazing fast. Next. Yeah, please. I'll take that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 7. Unless I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh.
Paul had something that he desired, something that vexed him, something that he wanted that he didn't want to want. Think of it like, you give up cigarettes, but you still want to smoke. So it vexes you. It bothers you. And he besought the Most High 3 times to remove it from him. The Most High said, my mercy is sufficient, meaning I'm not taking that from you. You're going to keep wanting to smoke weed. I'm leaving you like that. Live with it. My mercy is sufficient. You're going to want it and want it and want it, and you better not do it. Everyone understands. As far as your desire, I'm forgiving you for that. I'm forgiving you for the desire that you have. You can stop anything. You can stop being a homosexual. I proved that last week. If I need to do it, I'll do it again. Where's Alexa at? Alexa, are people born alcoholics?
Here is an answer from an Alexa Answers contributor that I translated. Yes, there is a hereditary component.
Alexa, stop. People are born an alcoholic according to the CDC, the government, the Google, the Alexa. You're born an alcoholic. It's a disease. It's alcoholism. Alexa, stop. It's alcohol. Alexa, stop. She won't listen. Alexa, stop. There you go. You're born that way. Yet, you are expected to stop being an alcoholic. Am I right? Right. If you say I'm an alcoholic, no one says, okay, drink up. Right? They expect you to control that. They expect you to stop that. Judges expect you to stop drinking. They expect you to stop even though you're born that way. Well, watch this. Alexa, are people born gay? Alexa, are people born gay?
Here is an answer from an Alexa Answers contributor that I translated. Homosexuality is not born. It is a characteristic present in the human race.
Alexa, stop. Alexa, say that again. Alexa, are people born gay? Listen closely.
Here is an answer from an Alexa Answers contributor that I translated. Homosexuality is not born. It is a characteristic present in the human race that may appear during the individual's development phase.
Alexa, stop. Yeah, you're not born gay. So if you can stop being an alcoholic, and you are born an alcoholic, you clearly can stop being gay because you're not even born like that. That's a fact. If you had self-control, if you had discipline, you could deny yourself food. And if you can deny yourself that which the body does need to survive, that's the precept I need. If you can deny the Lord said, life is not, what's the precept? Man shall not live without bread alone. But by man shall not live with bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. If you can survive without something that is necessary for life, then clearly you can survive without something that's not necessary for life. If you can survive without water, Water is necessary to live, and you went without it on the Day of Atonement. Raise your hand if this was your first Day of Atonement, the last one. Raise your hand if the next Day of Atonement will be your first Day of Atonement. Oh, we give him a hand. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. Well, whenever Satan tells you that you can't give up smoking weed, whores, prostitute, any sexual lust, remember, you're going to give up water. If you can give up that, you can give up other things. You get my point. That's the point of fasting. Right? To give up something that is absolutely necessary to survive, and then to remember that strength when you give up something that kills you. Remember the strength that you use to give up that thing that you need to live. All right. Next.
Any questions in the room?
So, like, sir, I had a brother that texted me this question on behalf of a sister in his zone. The question is it a sin to manifest or say affirmations?
To manifest. What does he know what that means? Or she know what that means? What does she mean by that? To manifest. Manifest means to make something real, to make something in front of you. Alexa, what does manifest mean?
As an adjective, manifest is usually defined as readily perceived by the eye or the understanding.
Alexa, stop. That's what manifest means. It's like to make it here, to make it in front of you, perceived by the eye. So I'm not sure exactly what she's talking about. I'm going to guess. All right, sister. Mm-hmm.
Can a person burn incense when they pray?
Can a person burn incense when they're praying? For what purpose?
Just to pray.
Just to pray, absolutely. If you wanted to burn in the UPK, we burn frankincense and myrrh every day in here. You absolutely can. It is traditional to burn incense, to burn frankincense and myrrh, because the Most High likes to smell in the temple. Now, if you think that, if you're burning sage for magical reasons, then of course that's witchcraft and doesn't work. And that's when I say witchcraft, I want you to really understand what I mean, because you might not because of TV. When I say something is witchcraft, I mean it doesn't work. That's what I mean. It's a scam. A witch's craft is to fool suckers like you. Just remember that. That's the witch's craft. The witch's craft is not to actually do magic. Witches don't do magic. Witches are magicians. He did not actually saw that lady in half. You understand? That rabbit was not in that hat. His craft is fooling you. Witchcraft is fooling people, which is why it's outlawed in the Bible, because it takes advantage of people who have lost family members. They've lost their mothers. And now this person takes your money and tells you that he can make you see your familiar spirit, the spirit of your family member. And you miss your mother. You miss your father. You miss your grandmother. And he's going to go, yes, your grandmother's here. Yes, I love you. Do you have someone? Hold up. Someone here has a man in their family with the name Jay. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Hold up. The name Jay. Yeah. Jay is the most common first letter name of men. Jay. You understand? Wait, Jay, you right there. Anyway, and your father. Wait, hold up. Some of you had a difficult relationship with your father. Raise your hand if you had a difficult relationship with your father. Hold up. Oh, Jay with a difficult relationship with your father. Yeah. Everybody, if you got a daddy, he's whooping your ass. If you got one, he being a father, which is whoop your ass. And they know that, and they do that, and you go, oh, because you miss him. You miss him. You haven't seen him. You love him. And you get put to death for taking advantage of people who are mourning loved ones. And that's why in the Bible, they killed witches. What else do witches do? Witches are drug dealers. They give people potions that make them feel like something supernatural has happened when really they're just high. That's it. And they die for that. Come on.
And better words, like you just said, General, stop being children, basically.
Give him a hand. That's a fact. Go ahead.
I have a scripture.
Yeah.
on stop being children, Ephesians 4:14.
Go ahead.
That we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carry about with every wind of doctrine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Give him a hand. That's right on target. Yeah. You know, you can be, you're tossed back and forth. You believe in this, you believe in that. You don't know what you believe in because really you believe in whatever your feelings lead you to today. Yeah. So I'm going to assume that the manifestation is that thing where women believe that if they make message boards. Am I right about dream boards? Vision boards. They make up a board where they put on their husband, Cadillac, new job. They put a diploma in a diploma hat up there. One of them graduation caps. They put that on there. Big entrepreneur. When they making all they, soups or purses or whatever they crafting in the bathtub that's gonna make them millionaires. And they put that up on there, and then it's like they manifest that, like because they can visualize it, they can do it. Now, that is not a sin. If you want to just write out on a piece of paper all of your goals in life, that's not unlawful. Okay, it's not going to work unless you get your ass up and do something. So, I mean, you could put it all on a cardboard and tape it to your door, put it on your eyelids. The things on your vision board will not happen without hard work. Right, bro? I can tell you how a while you was shy. But if you want to make a vision board, listen, do it. Whatever. Put a vision board to stop being so stupid on there. Put that on there. Put a stupid with a line through it, like a circle and a line through it, to stop being so effing dumb. Put that on your vision board. To stop being so lustful. Put that on your vision board. But making a vision board and trying to manifest the things on your vision board is lawful. If you want to do it, you can do it. You can make one online, do one in your house, whatever. It's fine. It's not a very masculine thing, brothers. I'll tell you that before General Yohana sees it. Men, it's not manly for a man to make a vision board. But if a woman wants to make a vision board, get on it. Do it. Brothers, I would not let General Yohana see your vision board, all right? He's old-fashioned West Indian. Okay, if you know what that means. Right, so now, that's fine. Now, what's the other thing she said? Manifested was something else. I forget. Go, come on. Affirmation. Now, daily affirmations is something that give me this man on SNL. Just type in daily affirmations. I'll tell you, this was very popular in the 90s. SNL daily affirmations. I'm good, I'm pretty, and I'm good enough. This was a real popular thing in the 90s. A lot of new age religions believe that if you just looked in the mirror and said, I am good enough, I'm enough. I'm enough. I am good enough. Now, that is not unlawful. That's not a sin to look in the mirror and say, you're pretty, you're good enough, and you're smart. That is not a sin. If you want to do that, that's lawful if that's what you want to do. It is not magic, just so you understand that. It's not magic. Now, will it help you? It's possible it helps you, and I'll explain why it might help you. Because really, okay, especially women suffer from extreme low self-esteem. They suffer from it because our oppressor is the devil, and he makes money by making women think that they're not good enough. He gets rich from that. He gets rich from constantly lowering the self-respect of a woman. Because a woman with no self-respect, a woman who's drunk out of her mind, high out of her mind, will take off her clothing for pennies. Do you understand? He needs women to devalue themselves so that he can use them. So this society constantly devalues women. That's why it shocked me, and I know no one in the world noticed this, but during the Me Too movement, everybody heard of the Me Too movement. During the Me Too movement, where you could not call a woman a bitch, you could not sexualize a woman, a senator lost his seat in the Senate for making a hand gesture like he was going to squeeze a woman's breast. And he never touched the breast. She was asleep, but he just acted like he was going to do it. He had to quit the Senate. You could not do anything sexual when it came to a woman. And the only thing that did not get Me Too'd is pornography, Instagram, OnlyFans, and whorehouses. Like, they thrived. They said they're allowed to be sluts. And being a slut is right, and we should all be sluts. And at the same time, when you could not devalue or sexualize a woman. Why? Because men want you to be a slut. You're not going to stop doing that. Men like you to be sluts. They want you to get drunk. They want you to get high so they can use you. So now, because of that, women are under constant bombardment that they're not good enough. So sometimes they might need this. Show me the thing from SNL. That one right there. Yeah.
Happy. I refuse to beat myself up. I am an attractive person. I am fun to be with.
Daily Affirmation with Stuart Smalley. Stuart Smalley is a caring nurturer, a member of several 12-step programs, but not a licensed therapist.
I'm going to do a great show today, and I'm going to help people because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
Give clap it up for it.
Hello.
That's
I'm
enough.
Stuart Smalley.
Listen, if you need that, hell, listen, I ain't stopping you. Go ahead and get in that. I'm good enough. I'm pretty, and doggone it, people like me. If you need that, get it on. I ain't gonna stop you. Now, brothers, I don't know if I mentioned Commander Giuliani is West Indian. You understand what that means? He's not gonna like you doing that. He is West Indian from way back in the long time ago. So he's got a hyper sense of masculinity. Okay, so you don't want to be making no affirmations or anything like that, because then when you go to hug him at the Passover, he will tell you to get your effing hands off of him. So you don't want to do that. But if a sister wants to do it, fine. All right, it's not unlawful. That's your question. That's the answer to your question. If you're a woman, do it. Go ahead.
Affirmation, the action or process of affirming something or being affirmed. 2, emotional support or encouragement.
You might need that. You might need some of it. You're single, you got no man. You might have to look at yourself in the mirror and compliment your damn self. That's a rough deal. I mean, if you listen to me and do what I tell you, I'll give you one of these brothers and they'll be complimenting you all day. One of these UPK brothers will be telling you, you look good, you're good enough. You're pretty. Everything is good about you. Delicious. Give him a hand. Come on. Next question.
Any other questions in the room? We got questions online, sir.
Please.
Brother wanted a general breakdown of Mark 38 through 41. This is Mark chapter 9, verse 38. And John answered him, saying, Master, we saw one casting out devils in thy name, and he followeth not us, and we forbade him, because
he wants a general breakdown. Is that what you just said?
Common concept.
Okay, I'll break it down for you. This is when the disciples were out teaching. So they're out in the marketplaces and the highways and the byways, and they're teaching, and they see someone casting out demons in the name of Christ, but he was not with us. Now, all you need to understand is this. Ask the brother who asked this question. Who is us? Read that part one more time. See me one more time, warrior, please, in the back with the strong, all right?
And we saw one casting out devils in thy name.
So he saw someone casting out devils in thy name, meaning in the name of Christ. Keep going.
And he followeth not us.
The water. And he followeth not us. All I need from the brother that asked the question is, who is us? I'll break it down after he gives me that. Anyone else have a question? Young man, brother, right here. You can stand if you would like, brother. Give him the microphone. Give him the camera too, if you could. Go ahead, warrior. You can do it, huh? Mm-hmm. Is it? It doesn't sound like it's on. Somebody help him out with the microphone, Corral.
Hello. Just like in terms of pride versus humility, like even when I had seen in the Christian church, I'm going through a situation now with a relative who's a Christian, and it just seems like to the point that you disagree with him about anything, you're automatically wrong, and et cetera, et cetera. And I mean, I just feel, even though he may quote scripture, I feel it comes out of a place of pride rather than humility, even though their doctrine is wrong. So I just, I'm trying to, I mean, my solution was try to love them from a distance, but, I don't know if that's the proper way to approach it, or to just cut them off. Like, like Jesus said, we drop everything and follow me. The New Testament. So, I just feel that's coming out of a place of pride from them, as opposed to loving, even the commandment, love thy neighbor as thyself.
Right.
So is there anything to any way to either address or to handle that situation?
Okay, do you live with him?
Yes.
Okay, so he lives in a home with you. Is it his home?
No.
It's your home. It's someone else's home. And he lives in a house with you. Okay, and so when you say cut him off, what would that look like if you lived together?
Not speaking to each other. We haven't spoken to each other.
And how long?
A week or so after a big blow up.
And this blow up was about what? It's all right. Was it about the Bible or about personal things? Okay, the blow up was not about the Bible. Does he bring up Bible scriptures? So even though you're talking about a personal thing, he brings up Bible scriptures. Okay, and he tries to use these Bible scriptures. Does he think that he's some type of preacher or knowledgeable person in the Bible?
No.
Okay, he doesn't. So he has a personal issue with you that comes from the past. I got you. And so your question is, the Water Warrior, should you cut him off? And cutting him off means ignoring him around the house. That's what cutting him off means. Am I right or no? What would it mean? What do you mean?
Well, I'm thinking of just picking up and leaving. I don't tell my family I'm here not because I'm ashamed. It's because
The problems.
People try to talk me out of it, even though I know what they believe is not true. Well, they believe the wrong thing about it.
Okay. I'll give him a hand. I understand your issue. Let me give you a precept that every young brother in this school was given when they were all exactly where you are right now. Give me Matthew 15. Give me what Christ did to a man's family. Okay, what you're going through, not only has Commanding General Yohana been through, every brother in the school has been through, but 2,000 years, the men that followed Christ in that time, they went through the exact same thing. The exact same thing. And I'm going to show you, all right? Give me what Christ said about his family. Is it Matthew 10? No, it's Matthew 15, right? Yes. Matthew 10. Yeah, that sounds right. Same young brother, go to Matthew 10 and 34.
Matthew 10.
Mm-hmm.
34.
Please, I do. If you're comfortable, you can do it, all right? Nice and loud, all right? Give him the microphone. Give him the camera, please, Trooper. Go ahead.
Matthew 10.
Okay, 34.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. Matthew 10, verse 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth.
Now that crushes a giant lie about Jesus Christ. That's written in red, right?
Yes, sir.
That means that Jesus Christ said these words. He said, think not that I am come to send peace on earth. Everyone believes that the whole mission of God was for everyone to love each other. That's why he sent Jesus Christ, for him to teach everyone love. During Christmas time, they say joy to the world. right? Because now our Savior is here, and now we're all going to get along and love each other because of Jesus Christ. Read that again.
Verse 34.
Stop. Read that again.
Think not.
Read it again.
Think not
Think not. Do not think. Think not. Keep going.
that I am come to send peace on earth.
Don't ever think that the mission of Jesus Christ was to bring peace to the world and joy to the world. That is not why he came. He said this 2,000 years ago. Don't think it. Why would he say that? Because at that time, people were lying about his doctrine back then. They were lying about it. So he had to tell them, don't think I came to set peace on earth. I didn't come to do that. Keep going.
I came not to send peace, but a sword.
But a what?
But a sword.
I came not to set peace, but a sword. Keep going.
Verse 35. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father.
I can't. Alexa, what does the word variance mean?
Variance is usually defined as the state, quality, or fact of being variable, divergent, different, or anomalous.
Stop. Different. Alexa, stop. Christ came to make you different from your family. That was the point. Just like a sword would cut two things in half, would separate one part from another. He wanted to make you different from your family. Read that last part again.
For I am come to set a man at variance against his father.
What his father?
Okay.
That word right there. Against is the word I want you to emphasize. Against. I came to set a man at variance against his father. That is a completely different way to understand the doctrine of Christ, brother. But it is the biblical way. It is the way that's in the Bible. Christ came to pit you against your family. Now it's right there in front of you. It's in the New Testament. I came to set a man at variance against his father. Go ahead.
And the daughter against her mother.
And he came to set a daughter against her mother. Keep going.
And the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
Keep going.
And a man's foes shall be they of his own household.
Now here's my question to you. Why will a man's foes be them of his own household? It's right in front of you. Say again? No, you already read the answer. Why will a man's foes be them of his own household? Why will a man be different or at variance against his father? Why? It's right. You already read it.
I am come to set a man against.
So then why will this man be now against his father, against his cousin, against his brother? Why? Because
he comes to set.
Because who is he? So then why will a man be against his family? You're right there.
They're not.
Who is setting this man against his family? Say it again. Yes. Give him a hand. It's right in front of you, right? It's how you break through because it's there. Do you see it or not? I will set a man against his family. The mother against the daughter, the father against the son. He separates families. That's what he does. Because you know what? Before Christ, the family is completely together while they molest each other's children, while they get high. Do you understand the families and Black and Latino households? You're going to see 3 generations living in that house up. Uncles, grandparents, cousins, nieces, and they steal from each other, molest each other, fight each other, and they never leave the home. They stay together because sin doesn't separate a family out. Families stay together. That's why they fight at Christmas dinners, because they stay together even though they molest each other's children. They don't leave. You're going to see your child molester at Thanksgiving dinner, at Christmas dinner, because child molestation does not separate a family. They stay together. They just make the child shut her mouth or shut his mouth. Stealing from each other, no. They're staying together. They're not going to separate. But the minute you decide to serve Christ, everyone is going to hate you. Right. And that will separate your family. Christ did it out. So what should you do? You just allow it to happen. There's nothing for you to do but come to class and learn. As far as him, he's there living with you. Let him live there. You live there until you don't want to live there. As you change your life, you'll have more opportunity to live where you want to live as you change your life. But as far as him, you don't necessarily do anything. All you're going to do is come to class and let the Most High separate you from who he will have you separated from. Done. You understand? So what? Go ahead. You need me up? You need me? Go ahead. Shema Walla, come here for 1 second. Please.
Oh, the doctor?
Okay, sorry. No problem. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, like even when I was in the church world, that I was made to feel by him that everything I was doing wasn't good enough, and everything that could possibly be wrong with me, he would be quick to point it out. But the good stuff, not so fast. You know, like you don't talk about me putting alcohol and drugs.
Go ahead.
But
give him a hand. We're gonna talk about it. Let me tell you, warrior. Here's some more good news that's in the Bible. And here, once you change, you get a new family who is just like you. Right? And that new family will celebrate your achievements. You understand? And congratulations for defeating alcohol and drugs. Well done. Give him a hand. Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
We good to go? All right, next question.
Slacky, so we were still in still going over the brother's question from Mark 9.
Go ahead.
Slacky. The brother wanted a general breakdown from 38 to 41. So I believe we're going into 39 now.
Mm-hmm.
But Jesus said, forbid him not.
Did he answer the question I asked? I asked him to tell me who is us.
Oh, Consa, he did put an answer up there.
What's the answer?
He said IUIC.
Oh, okay. All right, next question, Jesus. Next question.
Consa. Brother wanted a general breakdown of Genesis 3 and 15. And is this a precept for Genesis 25 and 26?
Okay, go ahead.
This is Genesis chapter 3 and verse 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman.
Enmity. Alexa, what does enmity mean? Alexa, stop. Alexa, what does enmity mean? She doesn't hear me. Alexa, stop. Enmity means to their enemies, the state of being enemies. Enmity. The Most High God said, read it again.
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman.
Meaning, this is the curse that the Most High God gave to the serpent in the Garden of Eden and to Eve in the Garden of Eden in particular. The Most High God cursed everyone involved with that first crime. He cursed the serpent, he cursed Adam, and he cursed Eve. Now we're reading right now about the curse between the serpent and Eve. The Most High said, I will put enmity between Eve and the serpent. Why? Because the first crime, the first sin happened when Eve was beguiled by the serpent. The serpent outsmarted her, man. The serpent fooled her, made her a stupid sucker. And because of that, the Most High is going to make them hate each other, which is what enmity means, so that they cannot unify anymore. So now the Most High has the serpent hates the woman. I'll break down in 1 second. Keep going.
And between thy seed and her seed.
And her seed. Who is the seed of Eve? Israel. Who is the seed of the serpent? Esau. And so that's why Esau and Jacob hate each other. It's a curse from God because at one time, Esau and the mother of Jacob, Eve, came together and they brought death into the world. So now they're going to be against one another. Keep going.
And it shall bruise thy head.
This is what you need right here. This curse, this enmity shall bruise the head of the serpent. Go ahead.
And thou shalt bruise his heel.
And you, I'm sorry, it shall bruise the head of Eve. Eve's head gets bruised, and the foot of the serpent gets bruised. Is that right? Or am I twisting it up? Read it one more time. Who is he talking to right here?
And I will put enmity.
No, I'm sorry. It's the other way around, right? It's the head of the serpent, and it's the foot of Eve, because serpents don't have feet technically, all right? So Eve's heel is going to get bruised because she's going to be stepping on a snake, fighting a snake. And that's going to bruise the head of the serpent, because there's this woman stepping on his head because he's down in the ground, low in the ground, and she's stepping on him. That's the metaphor. What is it actually talking about? There is going to be conflict with the government of the snake. The head of the snake will have conflict with the poor people, the lower class of the children of Eve. So what are you going to see in the streets every day? Poor people fighting the government. Poor blacks and Latinos, homeless blacks and Latinos, drug addict blacks and Latinos, impoverished blacks and Latinos fighting the police, fighting the government, fighting the mayor, fighting the corporations, because that's the head of the serpent getting bruised by the foot of this woman who is the mother of Israel. Does everyone understand? Keep going.
Lucky, sir, if I may, an example of that would be the race riots. Martin Luther King, the riots that happened in the 60s and the 70s. Riots that we have today.
Whenever black and Latino women think about joining with the masses of white society, the white power structure kills her son. Right. Exactly, throws her children in cages. Right? He does something so terrible that she has to hate him, because the white government, the head of that snake, kills her children. And that makes sure that she hates him because he kills her children. So her feet fight his head. Her lower class fights his upper class. And that's society every damn day. That's why you burn down Walmart, and that's why kids, ransack some big corporation like Walmart or these stores, right? Because they're fighting the head of that serpent. But the head of the serpent is being hit by the foot of our people, the lower class of our people. That's the breakdown. Anything else? Question.
The other half of his question is, was this a precept for Genesis 25 and 26?
Let's hear it.
Genesis chapter 25, verse 26. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years.
No, okay, this is not a precept for this. There's other precepts for this. This is not the head hitting, the foot stomping the head. This is Jacob's hand grabbing hold of Esau's heel, not Eve's heel. So it's totally different. This is a precept for who will rule the world at the end of the world. That's what this precept is about. Esau is the end of the world. He's the baby coming out. But Jacob is the world that cometh after. That's why Jacob is holding his heel. So now we're in the end of the world, because the Arabs at one time were in charge of this planet. They're not right now, because we're at the end of the world. At one time, the Persians were in charge of the planet. They're not right now, because we're at the end. Esau is the end of the world. Esau is in charge. They call themselves British and French and American. They're in charge of the world. And we are coming after them, meaning there won't be another race. It won't be the Moabites' turn, the Chinese turn, or the Japanese's turn, because they also ruled the world at one time. It's our turn. And that's why Jacob was grabbing his heel as Esau came out. What I just described is in a precept in the book, in the Apocrypha, all right? Question. Benjamin.
I wanted to know if Deuteronomy 28:56 was also a precept to that, sir.
Let's hear it.
It says that the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness.
This is not a precept for that. That's a totally different topic. That's talking about how women will become rough when they at one time were soft. All right, come on.
Now on the topic of the snake, sir, right? I'm trying to get in Revelation 12 where it talks about the snake and the great dragon and all that, right? I'm trying to find out what the war in heaven was again.
Go ahead.
Right? Revelation 12:7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon.
You want me to break this down? Okay. This is a vision. This is a vision. So he's seeing a dragon fight this woman. In reality, it won't be an actual dragon. It'll be an army, right? And now, when I was young in the truth, there was no such thing as Space Force. Right now, you'll grow up with a thing that actually exists called Space Force. Commanding General Yohana and the brothers who taught him would just tell us that there was going to be this war in heaven. And now there is literally a military agency for space, when there was no military for space when I came up in the truth. Now you have one, and it aids in your argument to prove this prophecy. There will be a war in the stars. That war is going to be fought between the dragon. The dragon is speaking about the military power of Esau, the military might of Esau. All right. That military might, there is no bridle on what that military might can spend, on what they can take to achieve their goal of defeating Christ, which is why they'll complain about money for child care, for health care, complain about money for rehab centers, complain about money for housing, but there will be no complaint about money for the military, because that money goes to fighting the great war at the end. You understand? The dragon is speaking about the military power of our adversary. And the woman, you know what that's talking about?
Yeah, the Holy Spirit, sir.
No, Israel. The woman is speaking about the nation of Israel. The woman has 12 stars around her head. Those 12 stars represent the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. That woman is pregnant. So Esau, his military might, is fighting the nation of Israel right at the moment when they're about to give birth to the Spirit of Christ. At that moment, when she's her most vulnerable. And that's us right now. Us as a people, blacks and Latinos. Brother, I mean, I came into the truth, man, as a child, 95. I think I graduated Hebrew Academy in 96. I came into truth in 95. Commanding General Yohana was already the #1 general in the nation at that time. He was somebody, I couldn't even talk to, right? And I, the time you're living in right now with the prophecies you're seeing, I could not have imagined back then. We are so close. I could never imagine that anyone ever heard of us. Do you understand? And now famous people are Israelites, and they're talking about being Israelites, and they're wearing shields of David. When that would have never happened, Doc. It was something that no one heard of black people being Israelites. It was so hidden away in counterculture. And now it is climbing to be the thing that threatens every powerful religion. Every Brakatha Yahweh while Yahweh shy. Okay. Black people and Hispanics, sister, what do you want to say? Microphone.
Make sure the mic is on.
Some Christians were saying that they were giants, and the reason that God got rid of the flood was because they were giants.
He didn't want them to be tall. He didn't want them to be tall.
No, like they were angels, and they had messed with the women of the earth. So he got rid of them.
Because
He didn't want that to occur.
He didn't want what angels to have sex with women. I got you. And does an angel have a penis? You might want to ask that preacher. And let me ask you a question. Is there a woman that could accept an angel penis? It's a hell of a girl. He's not human, you know. He's like an angel from God. So, I mean, you get the point? That's a childish nonsense. It's ignorant. It's give her a hand. Yeah, right. That's about right. I'll give you the breakdown on it in 1 second. Let me give the sister a question. Go ahead, sis. Absolutely invalid. Yeah, the book of Enoch is nonsense. In the beginning of the book of Enoch, it says, "This is not the valid book of Enoch." It's on the first page. It's it's on the first page. The book of Enoch is a book written by some white man in the 70s. That's it. It's nothing. It's nonsense. Let me finish this breakdown. Benjamin, go ahead. Keep one up front and one in the back, Hakim. Come on. They don't work. We got to get new ones up. We need batteries. This whole thing depends on batteries. Go ahead.
The dragon fought and his angels. I know the angels go to the Christian church.
The dragon is the military might of our oppressor. All of his space force and Star Wars defense program and fighter jets and Top Gun. His angels are his servants. So they could be men of any race who support and who are the messengers of that military might, right? Who convince the military fights the body. It kills you and makes you afraid. So you obey the dragon. The preachers work on your mind and they tell you America's the greatest country on earth. God loves America. God bless America. God wants America to rule, and they work together. Your preachers, they're angels of that dragon. They're messengers, which is what the term angel means. Messengers of that dragon. Good to go or no? Come on. Yeah. A military fight, meaning the angelic powers, God's military, fighting the accumulated militaries of our oppressor. And the battle takes about 1 hour, and that's figurative. 1 hour, 10 minutes, something. Go ahead. Read. Is this the one with a woman? Right. This is the sky. It's space. That's the heaven. Space. Good to go. No sweat. Next. Up front, Levi. Only one works. Someone run to the bodega. I can get some batteries, huh? I appreciate it. Go ahead.
I have a question in regard to, it's a history question, sir, in regard to the Jewish men. I'm trying to figure out.
Before you ask that, let me know when I should get into my topic. I'll probably need 45 minutes, a half an hour to get to my topic, all right? I need to get into a ton of things. Come on, Levi. Break it down.
So I'm trying to figure out what was their involvement, or if they even had any involvement specifically during that time. This is from the Code Noir. The Code Noir is the Black Code.
Black Code.
The French
instituted, right?
14. Now, in Article 1 of 1685, Article 1 it states this: we desire and expect that the edict of April 23rd, 1615, of the late king, our most honored Lord and Father, who remains glorious in our memory, be executed in our islands. This accomplished, we enjoy all of our officers to chase from our islands all the Jews who have established residence there, as with all declared enemies of Christianity. We command them to be gone within 3 months of the day of.
What date was this?
That was in 1685.
Okay, and your question is? This is the Black Code?
The Black Code of
Mhm.
1685.
Where? What country did this happen in?
This happened on the islands of Haiti and also the other islands that the French were ruling over at that time. So I'm trying to figure out where
Okay.
these Jews.
Okay, 1600s. More than likely, they were Edomite converts to our culture in the 1600s. Okay, I can't guarantee it, but the 1600s, it was very few of us keeping our culture at that time. And of course, the so-called white man who calls himself a Jew, he was stealing money from everybody who wasn't a Jew, wasn't calling himself a Jew. And they hated him for it. So it's the 1600s. Without further investigation, I would have to say that those are not Israelites. Those Jews are not Israelites. It's too late in time after we had lost our culture and lost our inheritance. You understand? All right. Next.
Any other questions in the room? Another question.
Go ahead, Warrior. Sis in the back. Go ahead. You need the microphone, girl. Go ahead. They'll give it to you. Go ahead. They'll give you the microphone. Nobody knows where it is. It's gone. Oh, they might not work. Just get her on the camera and just speak loud. All right. Go ahead, sis. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm.
So now, this is the day after I think the bill was passed yesterday. And none of the so-called illegal immigrants showed up to work because they don't want to be.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. So what should they do?
Give me the orange video I had. Is Asher here? You have the orange video? There's a white man that went out to pick oranges in Florida. You saw that? Let's play it for everyone real fast, all right? If you do you know what I'm speaking about?
Sir.
He doesn't have him saved.
You send it to the email?
Yeah, Asher should have it on deck. Where is Asher at? Okay, you got to wait 1 second. I'll show you a video. I'll break the whole thing. That's part of my topic tonight. All right. Let's get Issachar. Matter of fact, any other questions before I go into my topic? Anything?
Sir.
No questions in the room. No questions from the brothers in the other camps. Brothers in other camps, raise your hand if you have a question, all right? Let me know if they have.
Chicago has a question, sir.
Go ahead, Warrior.
Hey, Shalom, sir. Shalom, y'all. I got a question. Job, chapter 1, verse 4 and 5. Is this describing Job's sons celebrating their birthdays when it said, and his sons went and feasted in their houses, everyone to itself? Also, on top of that question.
Wait, slow down one second. You asked if this is Job's sons celebrating their birthdays?
Sir.
Okay, is there something in there about birthday that I missed?
When it says everyone himself.
His day.
Oh, his day, so like it.
Okay, read above it 2 verses.
Sir. This would be Job chapter 1, so like it, verse 1.
Go ahead, yeah.
Verse 2. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. Verse 3. His substance also was 7,000 sheep and 3,000 camels and 500 yokes of oxen and 500 she asses and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the east. Verse 4. And his son went and feasted in their houses, everyone his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them.
I got you. Is some Christians saying this is about birthdays?
Sir.
Are they pulling something that refers to a birthday or just his day?
His day, sir.
I got you. Okay, Levi.
If I may, sir, I believe what they might be referring to is in Job 3:3.
Go ahead.
When it says that the day perished when I was born, and the night in which it was said, there is a man child conceived.
They're saying that's a birthday party?
No, like I said, they use that verse that Brother read.
Uh-huh.
They try to use people that say either for or against it. They hypothesize that this is them celebrating the birthday because it says in their day. They make in their day be May 12th. They take it as in their day.
I mean, that's a rough one out because it's not mentioning the birthday. So I mean, okay. Couldn't your day be the day that you got married to your wife? Right, that could be your day. So your day is the day of your anniversary to your wife, or your day is the day of your biggest financial success, the day that you found that gold mine, or the day that you got this inheritance. To stretch the Bible to say your day means your birthday is, of course, not in the Bible. It has nothing to do with this. Okay, and that's once again what kids do, and just try to stretch it to something that you want it to be. It doesn't say birthdays. This has nothing to do with birthdays at all. It doesn't say what his day is, but his day could be anything. It could be absolutely any reason that anybody wants to have a feast. Period. It could be the harvest, the biggest harvest that came in. So he wants to celebrate it. That's his day. He could just choose the day because it's his day. This has nothing to do with birthdays, and there, of course, is nothing in here that's referring to a birthday at all. That's not the point. Everybody understands. Here's the point of all of this, and the Bible says that too. You want to make sure you understand the point or the reason for it. The point is, this man had everything. His family had celebrations. They were rich, and then they all died. And he was expected to maintain his integrity, even though he lost all of his children, even though he lost all of his wealth, even though his wife turned against him. He was expected to stay in the truth. That's the point. Does everyone understand? Some of you don't. Some of you don't. That's part of my topic tonight. Some of you don't understand that going through hardships is not a license to betray you. The problems that you have, that doesn't give you license to lose your integrity. Some people have, and they paid dearly for it. Dearly. We're going to talk about them tonight, and we're going to talk about you tonight. We're talking about you tonight. That's going into my topic, Ak, if I can wait a second.
Like you said, you wanted the video with the man.
If you don't mind.
Oh, Shalaki, sir.
Go ahead, Warrior.
I was just trying to finish the statement. Verse 5. The brother asked this question because of verse 5, when it says Job made the sacrifices. So the reason the brother asked this question was, why did he make those sacrifices for his kids? Was it because they did something that was outside of the law, statutes, and commandments? And if I could read the verse, Salaki, sir.
Go ahead.
Verse 5, and it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them and rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my son have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. Thus did Job continually.
All right. That also doesn't have any proof to say it's speaking about birthdays, because that was the common practice that the high priest did for Israel in case they committed any sins. This happened for the entire nation. You want to take it down to Deuteronomy. where the high priest made a sacrifice and supplication for the people every year. That sacrifice was done in Israel. That same sacrifice. The high priest went into the Holy of Holies every year and made a sacrifice for the people, for the sin offering of the people. It doesn't mean that this feast was a sin, but it could be that his sons have sinned, and the high priest did this for the entire nation. The sons could have eaten pork. The sons could have slept with a whore. The sons could have done any sin. It's not talking about the sin. But this exact same sacrifice Moses did for the people every year, it's spoken about in Hebrews, the 9th chapter, where the high priest went into the Holy of Holies every year and made a sacrifice for himself and for the people every year. That's in the Bible. So once again, this has nothing to, it's not about birthdays. It's not mentioning birthdays. It's not mentioning the sin. It's not the point. Celebrating your birthday is a sin because the Lord said, thou shalt have no gods before me. You're not allowed to have another God. And on your birthday, you are the God. The Lord said that you are not to take on the culture or the customs of the heathen, for the customs are vain. And your birthday is vain. It's to celebrate your vanity, the worship of yourself. It's a monument to your arrogance that you have to celebrate the day you were born as if you did something. What in the hell did you do? What makes you the God of your birthday? It's silly and it's Roman and it's pagan. And you can Google it now. You don't have to, you can just Google birthdays. Alexa, what is the history of birthdays, of birthday celebrations? Alexa, what is the history of birthday celebrations? From the who? Oh, damn, Alexa, from who? Who did she say? Did you hear her, sister?
Ancient Egyptians, sir.
What did she say?
The ancient Egyptians.
Go to Leviticus 18:3.
Wakhan. Wakhan, sir. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 18 and verse 3. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do.
Do I have to go on?
Lie, sir.
Next question.
The water, sir.
Salaki, sir. Colleen had a question.
Colleen, say me one more time with the chaser, please. I got to get to my topic.
Oh,
I'm going
to Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Khan, sir. My question is in 2 Chronicles 16 and 12, and I can just paraphrase it. It talks about King Asa having a disease in his feet, and it says that he did not seek the Lord, but only sought the physicians. And the sum of it is that he never got healed, and he went to lay with his fathers or whatnot. So my question is what does that mean that he did not seek the Lord, but only sought the physicians?
Okay, meaning he believed that he could displease the Most High and that the physicians could heal him even if God did not work through the hand of the physician. And that's foolish because nothing will help you if God is not on your side to heal you. Nothing. So imagine it's like you seek a physician by going and paying a doctor money. That's the way it always has been done, even thousands of years ago. You went and paid someone money. Well, how do you seek the Lord? By giving the Lord what he wants. By giving him what he wants. So now you pay a doctor, but you don't pay your tithes. You're going to die. That's it. You're going to die. All right. You're willing to go pay a doctor. You're willing to go pay this person, but you don't want to what? Pay your tithes. You're dead. That's it. If you seek a physician, you better seek the Lord as well. Because what that doctor does does not work without the Most High God's sanction. Everyone understands. That's the point.
The water, sir.
Next question. Benjamin, come on.
Precept, sir?
Huh?
Precept?
Please.
Deuteronomy 32 and 39.
Mhm.
See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand.
Yeah, that's a precept. Give Benjamin a hand. That's a fact. Now. That's a fact. If you think you're going to go vote your way out of captivity, you're a dummy. Voting will not change your condition. You're silly. All right. Can I get to the topic now or not? Anything?
Slacky, so Milwaukee had a question as well.
Milwaukee, you got it.
Milwaukee, you muted.
Hey, Shalakia, Shalom, Yabashir General. Shalakia, you can skip over us.
Next.
Shalakia.
You going to your topic, sir?
Clap it up. All right, first, let me explain to you what's happening. I want to go over. The sister asked a question earlier in Florida. I don't see her. She's gone too. God damn, there you go. Give her a hand. All right. She asked a question. She said that there's a, say your question again. Give her the microphone.
So there was a law that just passed in Florida. It's called the Senate Bill 1718. And so if an employer has 25 or more employees, they have to be e-verified. So they have to check to see if they're illegal or not.
And this was on the news?
Yeah.
Everyone talked about it?
I didn't really see it.
But it made the governor of Florida look like he was tough on immigrants?
Yeah.
Seemed rough?
Yeah.
All right, let me show you something. This is in Florida also.
Yeah, it's only in Florida.
Of course.
Yeah.
Let me show you something else in Florida. Go ahead and play it up. Turn it up nice and loud so everyone can hear it.
So tired, I'm missing my own bag. I don't feel it in my legs, boy, right? In my lower back. I tell you there, and in my forearms, just from like this repetitive motion of like. So one of the workers asked me, he said, well, what do you think it would take for an American to come out here and do this job? And I think it would take like $30 an hour. Guaranteed, like not even based on the buckets that they get. And then when you go to the grocery store, your orange juice would cost $12.
Pause.
Because after
This video is titled "A White American Picking Oranges in Florida." And this white man goes out to Florida and he has to fill up this giant bucket. Now to fill it up, it takes about 12 of this big sack. If it is not full, he gets $0. Now, listen to me good. This is now, right now, tonight. He gets $0. If it's full, he'll tell you how much he gets paid at the end. He gets $0. If illegal immigrants did not do this job, you could not afford orange juice because orange juice would be $25. If you hate illegal immigration, don't eat food because food comes from illegal immigrants. That's where food comes from. And America is rich and bountiful because of cheap labor. And that is how the country started. America cannot exist without cheap labor. Without cheap labor, you would go into the store. You niggas acted like it was the end of the world when the eggs went up. The eggs went up. You said Christ is coming back. When the gas goes up, listen, you pulling out your gun. That gas price almost made me go back to the world. I can feel it right there. Like I'm about to put a gun in somebody's face over this side. How much do you want to pay for a sandwich? $37? For a salad, $50? America is bountiful because of cheap labor. America wants illegal immigrants here. They want them there. Why do you think all of those immigrants are flooding over the border? Someone is going into their towns and villages and saying, get into America now. That's what's happening. Now, to the sister's question, many times, okay, because we don't know about politics and about what powerful men are doing, we get confused. That happens about every 5 years, what you just described. They do a crackdown on the immigrants and they raid a factory and they pass some law. In about 2 weeks, that place will be filled back up with immigrants. In 2 weeks. America wants them here. It's an organized effort to get illegal immigrants here. They want them here because without illegal immigrants, there would be no food. And I am not exaggerating. You would not be able to afford food without someone who works for 90 cents an hour. I'll play. Keep going.
Being here, I tell you what, I don't think most of you would do this job. That's the fact. Sounds like it's time to go. So I wouldn't get paid for this one today. Because it's not full. Oh, man.
You know, did you read that?
So now if you look what I made today.
I still cannot hear it.
So now, because it's not full. Oh, man. So now if you look what I made today, I only finished 3 bins, $28.50, $2.85 an hour over 10 hours.
Pause. $2.85 an hour over 10 hours.
Right.
That is why you can afford orange juice. You couldn't afford it. You go and get an apple lock, that apple would be $5. One of them. One of them. The only reason we can even eat is because of illegal immigration. So when you hear about crackdowns, they're going to change the law. It is because somebody wants to be president.
Yeah, he's actually trying to run for president, the governor of Florida.
Wait about 2 weeks. Wait about 2 weeks. It'll be all of your tribe in that place. What tribe are you from?
Asherite.
Give Asher a hand. We got a big story. Asher is Venezuela, correct?
Ecuador.
Ecuador as well as Venezuela?
Yeah, and Colombia.
We have a big story about Venezuela tonight, about the Asherites tonight, and Colombia, correct?
Yes.
Correct. Come on. Here we go. You like license plates? That's the prison. You like flags? That's the prison. Prisons make, Alexa, can you give me a list of every product made in prisons in America?
From Box.com, prisoners make air filters, clothes, lamps, and office supplies for wages that range from 23 cents an hour to $1.15 an hour. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did, Alexa. It answered my question. No problem. Yeah, you can't have these things without people in prison. You understand? People in prison. Alexa, who makes the uniforms for the U.S. military?
From Liveback.com, U.S. military uniforms are manufactured in China.
Look at that. That's more silly nonsense. So, because they hate China, don't they? They can't stand China. But the U.S. military, their uniforms are made in China, which means they don't hate China, right? So much of what you watch on the news is politics playing out in front of your face. It's said for effect, but it's not real. It's not true. China makes the U.S. military uniforms. You get my point? Prisoners make everything, and you can't have food without illegal immigrants. They'll be coming over here. They want them over here, which is why illegal immigrants from Mexico and Venezuela are not taking your jobs. Are we on Chat House tonight? Listen, Chat House is where a ton of those Egyptian people are. What are they called? Conscious community.
All right.
Here's a giant myth with the Africa-loving conscious community, that the Hispanics, the Latinos are going to take your jobs. That is a lie. They're not going to take your jobs. Here's the jobs that Latinos are going to take. Jobs that white people want them to have.
Right.
That's it. They're not going to take anyone's job. You're doing the jobs that they want you to have. The Latinos are going to do the jobs they want them to have. The Latinos cannot take your jobs because they're illegal immigrants. So they cannot take your jobs. They can't take your projects. They can't take whatever free things you're getting from being the poorest filth in America who was born here. Who can take your job? Africans. Because they're legal immigrants and they are taking your jobs. Africans taking everything that you could do. Africans are doing them. Mexicans are not, because they work for $2 an hour in Florida in a field. And they only can make that much because they're not citizens, because there's a minimum wage for a citizen. A citizen cannot get paid $2 an hour legally. He would have to get paid $15, $12 an hour. Only an illegal immigrant can work for $2 an hour. That's the job they want for them. They want you in jail, making things for them in there. Does everyone understand? So, sister, don't worry about that. That's meaningless and nothing. I gotta move on now. Let me get to my topic. There's a big story that's going to be happening right now, especially shout out to ISUPK Houston. Give them a hand. And shout out to ISUPK Mexico. Orale. Soon, ISUPK Mexico and ISUPK Houston are going to go out on another mission sent by Commanding General Yohana to El Paso, Texas. Right? Sign up. Right now in El Paso, Texas, there's a law that's ending called Title 42. Now, Title 42, in essence, was a law putting restrictions on immigration because of the COVID-19 virus, meaning because this virus was so deadly, they didn't want people coming into the country because they might have the virus. Donald Trump passed the law. Biden upheld it until I think it ends May 11th. So because the law is about to end, migrants are coming from, that's today, migrants are coming from everywhere to get into the country without their COVID restriction. Why are they coming? Someone is telling them to come. Do you understand? They're not just deciding, let's go there today. Someone is saying, come here. Who's saying it? Orange companies, apple companies, strawberry companies, factories. They're saying, get over here to America. I have a job for you. What you see happening on the border is organized by white people. They're organizing it. They're going into villages in Juarez and Sinaloa and into Venezuela and saying, come here, come to America. And that's why they're all coming at the same time, because it's coordinated, Asher. It ends at midnight tonight. Everyone is already there at the border. Now, what you're seeing happening on the border, okay, in many cases, like, it's a terrible incident because you're seeing people at the junction of two things in life: a terrible existence in their country, violence destroying them, and hope for the American dream right across the border. And those two things come together and cause what you're seeing. Sister, where are your people from? Tell me about what your people went through. Give Ecuador a hand, Asher a hand. Put the camera on the sister. Tell me about what your people went through over there in Ecuador and how you ended up in America.
So my grandparents came here about 50 years ago. They came here legally. They left my mom over there in Ecuador. They couldn't see her for like 13 years. And then my mom came to America.
And have your parents or grandparents told you about the condition of Ecuador right now today and what's happening in Ecuador?
So right now my grandparents are actually in America because there's a lot of crime and a lot of stealing happening in Ecuador right now. So they haven't went back because it's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah.
Right. It's terrible. And in these countries, it's horrible to live there. Here's what you have to understand. America makes sure that it's horrible in Ecuador because they want your family to come to America and to be willing to do anything to get here. America destabilizes these countries so that they can have cheap labor. For the same reason they put drugs in the ghettos of blacks and Latinos who live here, so they can have cheap labor. They destroy your life so you can be hungry for the American dream. They have to make your life a nightmare so you can want the American dream. Benjamin.
That's my rib, sir.
Give him a hand. Give Benjamin a hand.
A story that her family.
Got the camera on him?
A story that her family was passing on, saying that right now in Ecuador, they're not allowed to use their phones outside in public. Nobody. Because you would die for your phone in Ecuador right now.
Then someone is going to steal your phone
They're
from
going to
you.
steal you, but
They're going to kill you for your phone. That happens to influence you to leave. They want you to leave. I'm going to tell you why I know this so intimately in 1 second. They create crime in your village. They make your village unlivable. At the same time, they tell you there's a dream across this river. There's a dream if you're willing to travel, if you're willing to fight to get here. And there's a better life over there. And strong people are willing to go through what they have to go through to make a better life for their family. I know that very well. You do too. All of you in this room know just what I'm talking about. I'll explain in 1 second. Let me explain to you what they go through to get here, to make a better life for their family. Is Issachar, are you there?
Sí, mi general, aquí estoy.
See, this is Issachar, Bun Issachar. He's in charge of ISUPK Mexico, the camp in Mexico. Give him a hand. So recently this week, let me now, Issachar, I can't show the images because our channel will get flagged. But we're going to put the tag in the chat room so that people can watch them for themselves. But there are thousands of people trying to come into America this week, and they're flooding the border because now they want to come to America. So many of them will not be able to come here legally, but they'll come here illegally. Our oppressor knows that. Our oppressor is the one that destabilized their country to make it unlivable so they could have to come here. This week, there was a massacre in Texas. What's the city it happened in, Issachar?
This happened in the Rio Grande Valley, Brownsville, Texas.
In Brownsville, Texas, in the Rio Grande Valley. There was was he an Asherite man? Was that the murderer?
Sir, he was an Issachar. I got the article if you want me to read it. I don't want.
I do. Go ahead.
See me, general. It says 8 killed after car plows into 18 pedestrians in Brownsville, Texas. Alleged driver charge. It says a driver is facing manslaughter charges after he allegedly plowed his car into 18 pedestrians at a Brownsville, Texas bus stop.
There were 18 brothers. Where were they from, Issachar?
They were Venezuelans. They were Mexicans out of one. They were Latinos out of one.
They were Latino brothers. They're standing in line trying to fight their way through to get to America, correct?
So like I said, they were already in America.
They were in America. Why were they lined up out there?
It was what do you call those homes out of one, those places where they help people that cross the border. Kind of like a sanctuary. I'm not sure what it's called.
No problem. So they were there because they crossed the border. Migrant camps. They want to get food. They're going to get clothing. So they line up in a line. That's exactly why ISUPK Mexico and Houston are going to El Paso, Texas, to give them food and clothing and hot meals and water. These people, I can tell you how why y'all was shy. They were standing in a line to get help. And a Issacharite brother, a Mexican brother, took his car and ran them all over. Keep going, Issachar.
Canada Khan, sir. So like it, sir, it just states that, sir, that 10 of them died and the rest were injured out of one. But if I could, mi general.
Please.
This is that self-hatred that we had in that last class out of one. this Vato hates himself so much that he wants to kill people that look like him, because he didn't care what they were. He didn't care they were Venezuelans, Mexicanos. He killed them all, sir. And this guy, he said that the immigrants were taking over America.
That's what he said. That's what he said. This man who killed him said, the immigrants are taking over America. He was a Mexican. Where's his picture at? You have his picture? Put his picture up. He said, the immigrants are taking over America. And he killed 10 of them with his car because they were standing in line trying to get food and clothing and water. Go ahead, Issachar.
Khan, sir. The picture I sent it to Officer Ashar Gapan of that brother. But Khan, sir, and this is Christianity at its finest, Adawan. At its finest. This cat looks like he just crossed the border himself illegally. This cat looks more of a wetback than any of them other brothers that got murdered.
That's right.
It's that self-hatred, sir. And it's going on right now big time that they're also burning the tents of the migrants, because we got to understand it's Mexicans, Venezuelans, there's all kinds, sir. Ecuador, Haitians, Levites, everybody's crossing right now. I don't want everybody. So it's just that self-hatred I don't want, and it's going throughout the whole border of Texas, sir, where they're getting their tents burned, they're getting attacked, they're getting kidnapped, held for ransom. They're getting destroyed. I don't want it, and it's mostly by our own people, sir.
That's right. Give Issachar a hand.
If I may, sir,
please.
I have the video that we can see that's been edited by the media.
Please.
Har? No, video.
Into a gruesome scene when a vehicle slammed into a crowd of people. We're pausing the video because it's too graphic and disturbing to fully show.
Horrific. It was terrible. People were running to help them. The bodies were all over the place.
The victims were lined up along the road outside the Osnum homeless shelter when the SUV struck them around 8:30 a.m. Witnesses say the driver then tried to flee but was detained by others at the scene.
There's reports that are going out that he was driving recklessly. There's others saying that he was intoxicated. And there's others saying that he was intentional.
7 people died at the scene. 1 died at a nearby hospital, and several others remain in critical condition. Among the dead, Angel V. Cavarca. His cousin says he came across the body seconds after the crash.
Cuando lo veo es en el suelo y pues eso para mí fue como si me cayera el mundo.
Authorities say those victims include asylum seekers from Latin.
If you click onto the links, be careful because these images are terrible. There are people where their legs are off and their bodies are falling apart and there's blood everywhere. It's a terrible scene. And this happened because some Mexican believe that immigrants are taking over America. Alexa, what is internalized racism?
Internalized racism is a form of internalized oppression, defined by sociologist Karen D. Pike as the internalization of racial oppression by the racially subordinated.
Alexa, stop. This psychologists have already studied this. They know what this is. When you constantly hear about how the immigrants are taking over America, we have to stop these immigrants. But you are an immigrant. You begin to hate yourself and you internalize oppression. You oppress yourself. Is this strange? Now, I'm from the tribe of Judah, and I know this well. I know that my family hated niggers.
Right.
I grew up like that, sister, just so you understand. Raise your hand if your family hated niggers, didn't trust niggers, would never, but raise your hand, would never hire niggers. Knew niggers was on some nigger time doing some nigger shit. Yeah, that was my house. Judites hate themselves because we hear what white people say and we hate the face that white people hate. The problem is that's our face. This Mexican killed them because Mexicans are taking over the country. That is a psychological disorder. I'm going to let Alexa bring it out some more. Alexa, what is internalized racism again?
Internalized racism is a form of internalized oppression, defined by sociologist Karen D. Pike as the internalization of racial oppression by the racially subordinated. In her study of the psychology of racism, Robin Nicole Johnson emphasizes that internalized racism involves both conscious and unconscious acceptance of a racial hierarchy in which whites are consistently ranked above people of color.
Yeah, that's what it is, baby girl. That's it. And this man killed his brothers because they were like him. And he's filth, and they're filth, and he's taken over the country, so he has to kill himself. Let me tell you who else is killing themselves. Alexa, what percentage of Border Patrol agents are Mexican?
From Vox.com, nearly a third to a half of the Border Patrol is Hispanic.
Alexa, what is the suicide situation with Border Patrol agents?
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Alexa, is there a problem with suicide and Border Patrol agents? Alexa, are Border Patrol agents committing suicide? Oh, you better look that up. Okay, because three of them killed themselves this week. And it's up. Did I send you this one, Asher? Oh, it's up. Please.
ABC News. U.S. border officer suicides at 13-year high.
Yeah.
The agency is focusing on culture change.
Please go ahead. Now, 1/3 of them are Mexicans, but you know what? They're beating Mexicans and they're starving Mexicans and they're pouring their water out so they can't have water. And it's destroying their conscience because of what they're doing to their brothers. And they're putting their gun in their mouth and they're killing themselves because their conscience can't take what they're doing to La Raza, to the chosen people of God, to the Hondurans, to the Guatemalans, because they were hired specifically because they're the same race as the people they're policing. And they are murdering themselves because their conscience can't take it. Please play the story.
U.S. border officers suicides at 13-year high.
They can't take it up. That is internalized racism. They go and beat a Mexican and starve a Mexican and then go home and look at a Mexican in the mirror. And they kill themselves. They kill themselves. How do I know about this? Who wants to guess who else has a high suicide rate? Blow my mind. Go ahead.
Police officers?
Yeah, cops. Yeah, they kill themselves too because they beat blacks and they torture black people and then they go put their gun in their mouth. They eat their gun. That's what they call it. Correct. That's the term, eat their gun. Right? Because they can't live with what they do. They can't live with it. Come on.
Slack it, sir. If I may, is Genesis 37, 23 verses 23 to 28 preset for this? When Joseph brothers threw him into the well, sir?
When Joseph's brothers, no. That's different. This is like Joseph hating himself. This is not like his brothers hating him. This is like Joseph throwing himself in the well. You understand? It's internalized racism. Why am I bringing this up? You might look at this right now and go, this is an amazing thing. All of these thousands of Latinos coming across the border at one time. It is not. Alexa, what is the Great Black Migration?
The Great Migration, sometimes known as the Great Northward Migration or the Black Migration, was the movement of 6 million African Americans out of the
Alexa, stop. How many did she say?
6 million.
Let me explain to you how you got here to New York and your families got here to New York. At one time, around 1910 to about 20, 30 years, 6 million Black people came from the South to New York, Washington, D.C., New Jersey, Detroit, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Why did they come? Because of terrible abuse in the South.
Right.
Violence, lynchings, Emmett Till. terrible, terrible lynchings. Do you know down in the South at that time, lynchings were a family event?
Right.
Meaning they brought their children to watch it. I think we have pictures up on the wall, or you can go look at it. You have one? Where it was not a terrible, it wasn't like an execution. It was a beautiful family event that you brought your children to. The South had become so violent, and the North had the hope of the American dream. And they traveled, please. Put it on the camera. That's 2 Mexicans being lynched in the South. Brother, this is what you need to create this scenario, the environment where 6 million people leave the South and come to America. 6 million people leave Honduras, leave Venezuela, and come to America. Terrible nightmares in their cities and hope for a better life in America. Up north, the tribe of Judah did this, which is how we are here right now. That's how we're here. We're here because your grandmothers and grandfathers, you were the immigrants, you. And you went to this strange place called the North, which had different laws, different customs, different rules than where you came from. But your grandmother and your grandfather, they wanted a better life for you, man, which is why you weren't born in Mississippi, in Alabama, because they wanted a better life for you. And they left, and they went to Chicago. They went to where? They went to Chicago, Detroit. They went to Milwaukee to give you a better life. They went to Harlem, which became, a hub of everyone from the South that wanted to live a better life than being lynched in Mississippi. And they came up here, man. And now as you sit up here in the North, you better remember the strength of the tribe of Issachar, of the tribe of Asher, of the tribe of Naphtali. They are as strong as your grandparents were. They're doing the same thing. Do you understand how courageous you have to be to leave Honduras illegally and come to America? How are they getting here? It's not on a plane. Do you understand what they're doing? I know your mind, you can't even really grasp it. Your grandfather did. He understood. That's how he got here. He went through a swamp. He walked. He traveled. He begged. He stole. He lied to give his family a chance. And that's how he got here. And as you look on the tribe of Issachar, the Mexicans, the Guatemalans, the Haitians, the Hondurans, you better reward them for their strength, because they are absolutely strong in love, because they're willing to do that for their families. Yeah, you see this brother right here? This is a Mexican brother right here who crossed the Rio Grande River, the river in the Rio Grande. He put his daughter on his back and put his daughter under his shirt. This picture I can't look at, but everyone sees it, right? No, leave it up there. Leave it up there. He put his daughter under his shirt. Oh, he put his daughter under his shirt to get across this river because he loved that girl. But he knew that he couldn't leave her in the town they were in because his daughter would be kidnapped or sexually trafficked. And he loved her. And he showed such strength. And that's where he is. And he should be remembered. And she should be remembered. And they should be applauded because anyone who is traveling across that border from Sinaloa, from Tijuana, from Guatemala, from Argentina, from Acuna, they are no coward. None of them. And without that spirit, the truth would not be in Harlem. How do you think the truth got to Harlem? Because men did this. Men did this, which is why we're here in Harlem. Because men did that. Your grandparents did that. And because of that, you're in Harlem, New York. Because of that. Now, what does that mean? When the Mexicans get here, when the Hondurans get here, they're going to find out that the American dream is a lie. That's what your grandparents found out. They found out the same thing. But you don't know that until you get here, right? You got to get here first, right? It's not true. They're going to pick those oranges. That's what they're coming here to do. They're going to work terrible jobs. If you wanted to really fight the enemy who's stealing your jobs, you fight the robots.
Right.
Because the robots are stealing your jobs. They're, brother, in about 5 years, there won't be truck drivers. It's about 5 years. And truck driving is over. Working in a supermarket, I think, is over now.
Right.
Being a cashier, I think, is over. Right? Robots are stealing your jobs, not Mexicans. Robots. There is no one that could steal your job because white people decide who works that job. They orchestrate the whole thing. They go to your town in Mexico and they prop up drug dealers and crime and crooked politicians knowing you're going to leave. Then they tell you, come here, come to America. I have a good job for you. And that's how do you think every Judite came to the north? Because of the steel mills and Ford and Chevy and all of the auto industry.
Right.
That's how black people came to Detroit. Someone went to Mississippi and said, life is better in Detroit. You make $3 down here, you'll make 10 up there. And we're going to lynch you down here if you stay. And it was so terrible. Like, when you research this great migration and read the books on it, right? Black people were in the South getting lynched and killed. So then they decided we're leaving. As they went to leave, the white landowners said, wait a minute, too many of you are leaving. And then they stood at the train tracks and beat them to stay. So they got beat if they stayed. They got beat if they left. They were courageous. And they came up here. And now our brothers, the Latinos, are showing the same courage, and they deserve your respect. They deserve it because they are the same as you. The Great Migration was 6 million from one tribe that came to the north. Now, in about 10, 12 years, there'll be 6 million Latinos coming to America. This is what the Bible says. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Instead of hating them, why don't we give them the love that we would have wished someone to give our grandparents when they came here through the Great Black Migration? Why don't we treat them with the kindness that we would have wished someone would have treated our grandparents with when they came to Harlem, when they came to Chicago, when they came to Detroit? Because a nation divided cannot stand. Does everyone understand? You want to say something, Asher? Clap it up. All right.
9:40.
Now I gotta go. Cesario, give me 10 minutes. All right. Do I have it? Okay. First, I got to explain something this week. I have to go into this brother in the school, right? Many of you know who this brother is. His name is Captain Issachar. Now, let me tell you about what happened this week. All right. Captain Issachar, oh my God. It had to be 12 years ago. Captain Issachar was in the Washington, D.C. school. And he brought this sister to me in the Washington, D.C. school. Her name was Waraka. I think Waraka Punyamya or Waraka. And this sister had so many terrible problems, horrible problems. This sister was a severe alcoholic, severe. Captain Issachar came to me and he said, sir, I would like some help with this sister because he had recently married this sister. Let me give you some precepts, all right, while I'm going through this so we can do it in a timely fashion. We're going to go to, bear with me. Stand by. Stand by. The precepts you're going to hold for this breakdown are you're going to hold 1 Corinthians 5:11, 1 Peter 2:19, 2 Corinthians 4:12. So he came to me about the sister, right? Because she was a severe alcoholic. And some of you brothers and sisters, you might not be familiar with alcoholism like you might become in the future, but it's a terrible, terrible disease. It's horrible. And if you've loved anyone that's an alcoholic, it's a terrible burden. And Captain Issachar Ward loved this woman. He loved her, Rock. He loved her with such a sincere love that it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful thing. And so for 12 years, he took care of this sister. For 12 years. And let me tell you, and it's hard for me to describe to you if you weren't there to understand the depths of how much he loved this woman. This woman was cruel, and she embarrassed him. And if you've ever been around an alcoholic, then you know what I'm talking about. Alcoholics are selfish because their desire and need to be drunk supersedes their love for their family. They can't love you. Who ever heard of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? Alexa, was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde a metaphor for alcoholism?
From McFarlandBooks.com, Hyde is an allegory of alcoholism, an interpretation that cultural change and the stories renowned have perhaps
Alexa, stop.
obscured.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, that's about an alcoholic. It's about someone that drinks this potion and they become a monster. This sister became a monster. And this brother loved her even though, and cared for her even though. And she embarrassed him to no end. She would go on Facebook and talk about it. She would shame him. And many of you know what I'm talking about, right?
No, sir.
There was many times we have barbecues and public functions, and she would come so drunk and she would shame him and curse him out in front of everyone. He loved this woman and it damaged his reputation. It made him look weak. It made him look like he was someone that had to be horrible to have a curse like this as his wife. And if you have been with someone that's alcoholic, you know what I'm talking about. There's a group called Al-Anon. Alexa, what is Al-Anon?
In Ireland, the name
Stop. Alexa, stop. There's a group called Al-Anon.
Alexa, stop.
That's families of alcoholics. Families. Because loving an alcoholic destroys your heart. It destroys your soul. Because you so desperately want them to stop. And here's the psychosis. You think you can make them stop. You think there's enough love, enough kindness, enough patience that will get them not to drink. You think one day they'll love you enough not to drink, but you don't understand. They are the monster. Captain Issachar Ward loved this woman, and she was terrible to him. She tortured him for 12 years. She tortured him, and he damaged his reputation in the school. Because he told me, I remember he told me this so clearly. He said, "Sir, I married her. I took on this responsibility. And I am going to help this sister because I chose to marry her." Captain Issachar Ward is a man of honor.
Right.
A man of responsibility. He's not like your baby's father. He's not like that man who you had sex with in the world. He took it serious that he made a covenant of love with this woman. And if I go into the stories, it's 12 years of torture. It was one time I remember where his kids went and lied and told a terrible lie on Captain Issachar Ward. He had to go to court over it. He went to court. Afterwards, the kids said, "Well, we just lied and said that." They admitted it in front of a judge that they lied. But it took 5 years of shame and embarrassment. He went to court and fought through it and did it. And all at the same time, his wife is torturing him publicly. There were many counsels about it because brothers would get angry at his wife because they loved Issachar Ward and they didn't want to see him be embarrassed. They didn't want to see him be shamed. And they would get angry at this sister. And Captain Issachar Ward would come to them and say, "That's my wife. Please forgive her. I'm working on her. I'm trying to change her. Please forgive what she did." He was an example of love. He was love in a way that you've never experienced. You've never understand. Some of you, if you have a father that's an alcoholic, you might know. If you might have been that brother that had to go to the bar to get your father. Anyone have been through that in here? Oh, you know what I'm talking about. Well, you had to go down. That's your pop. But you're embarrassed by him. And you're ashamed to let people know that's your father. But you go down to the bar and you grab him up. Come on, Dad. It's time to come home. And you pick him up and drag him, and he might be crying or stinking. And you take him to the house. And you put him down in the house because he's embarrassing. He's a shameful man to have in your life, but he's your dad. Some of you brothers have been through that. Some of you sisters have been through that with a mother who was a drug addict. Raise your hand if your mother was a drug addict. And now that's your mom, and you're embarrassed because that's your mother, right? You see her, the way she dresses, the way she talks, her reputation in the neighborhood, but that's your mom. That's your mom, and you love her. And because of that, you try your best to take care of her. You become a parent to your own parent, don't you? Right? It steals your childhood, does it not? You don't get to have a childhood. Well, Captain Issachar Ward lived what you lived. And he lived what so many of you have lived and will live. Because you love someone who loves nothing but their addiction. Nothing but that. But you love them. And Captain Issachar Ward loved this woman. And we had so many countless counsels. I went to my phone yesterday and just began to read all of the counsels, all of the drunk hatred and then apologies. Drunk hatred and then apologies. Drunk hatred and apologies. 12 years of them, right up to the end. And I think Issachar Ward lived with her and apologized for her and tried to get brothers to forgive her and tried to get brothers to ignore her when she was Mr. Jekyll, to try to get people to ignore that and to give her another chance. And we always did. And I always wonder to this day if she thought that we forgave her because we believed she would change, or we forgave her because we were so moved by Issachar Ward's love. I don't know if she knew, but I will tell you, we were moved by his love for her. He loved this woman so much that it moved us to forgive her too. We forgave her. Because damn, if he can forgive her, if he can give her another chance, who am I to hate her? He forgave her. All right, I forgive you too. Come back around. Come to class. Come be around people, because Captain Issachar Ward finds a way to love you. He finds a way. Let me get those precepts I asked for. Quickly.
1 Corinthians 5:11.
Mm-hmm.
But now I have written unto you not to keep company. If any man
Not that one. Give me another one. Hold that for the end. Another one. The other one I asked for. 1 Peter's.
It's the book of 1 Peter's, chapter 2 and verse 19. For this is thankworthy, if a man for conscience towards God endure grief.
Let me tell you what Captain Issachar Ward did. This is thankworthy. And today I wanted to thank him, because I realized today that I have never thanked Issachar Ward for what he did for this sister. And I wanted to make sure I did it today. I never thanked him. I never told him, damn, Mark, I mean, you're stronger than me. That I couldn't have done this. I couldn't have suffered with Captain Issachar Ward suffered. I'm not as strong as him, brother. He's stronger than me, and I've never thanked him for it. So I wanted to make sure that I did it today, because this Brakatha Yahweh Yahweh Shai. Because this is thankworthy. This is worthy of thanks. Read that again.
For this is thankworthy, if a man for conscience towards God endure grief.
For if a man for his conscience towards God endure grief. He could have done what so many men have done, which is throw her away. Brother, I remember when he first married her, right? I probably still have this video. He's first married her, and her mother was a terrible alcoholic as well. And he went over her mother's house, and her mother was so drunk, and she was arguing with her mother. And he went to try to stop her from arguing with her mother. And her mother came at Issachar War with a giant butcher knife. You remember Captain Tazaria. And this was fresh out of Hebrew Academy. She came down with a butcher knife, big as this thing here. And she went, woof. I mean, came down on him. But he was fresh out of the Yad Karab class. He turned, grabbed the knife, brother, like a class in Yad Karab. And if he did not turn, he would have died because she came down like this. And he turned and trapped the knife. He stayed with that sister and moved her out from her mother's house. That's what he did. And he stayed with her. And he loved her. Why? Because of his conscience towards God. And that is something that is hard. I thought tonight when I came in here, I don't know if for some of you, I'll be able to make you understand what integrity is. Because I notice when I go online, I can tell that you don't really get what it means to be loyal. You don't get what it means to love someone. You don't understand it. But I figured I should try because it is my duty to do so. Right? He loved this woman and he felt it was his job to be honorable and to do what God told him to do with his wife. And so he never left her. He never abandoned her. He never threw her away. He stayed with her and just made apology after apology for her constant episodes. And they were grievous. They were terrible. They were things that no man could go through. There were things that if you went through this, there was no way you could stay with this woman. He did. He stayed with her. He didn't leave her. He honored the oath of marriage. He honored the bond of sex. He did it with no ring and no marriage certificate, but simply his love for the Most High God and his honor towards the commandments of God. He kept this woman and stayed with this woman. So then finally, time went on. Time went on. And then Captain Issachar War, after about 12 years, the Most High sent him another rib. Jesus. Brother, this other rib is one west.
Right. That's right.
This other rib is beautiful and kind. And I remember talking to Issachar War at a barbecue. And I came to him and I said, Ak, you deserve this woman because you've shown such manhood and such grace and such kindness with taking care of this woman that you deserve a respite from cruelty because his wife was cruel to him, abusive to him. In every form of your understanding of that word, she was abusive. Right. And if you get what abuse is, she was that to him. And he returned it with kindness and forgiveness. Keep reading.
Khan. Suffering wrongfully.
Doing what?
Suffering wrongfully.
She wasn't right to torture him because she knew he loved her. And no matter what she did to him, he wouldn't leave her. Some of you women don't understand that when you marry a brother from the school. We're not going to leave you.
Right.
We're going to stay with you. You can belittle us. You can shame us. You can go on Facebook like a disgusting bitch. And that brother is going to chastise you, correct you, but he will be your husband for the rest of his life. And there are some women that take that for granted. Right. There are some women that will abuse these men for knowing that because their conscience towards God won't let them leave you. He did this and he suffered wrongfully. He didn't suffer because he deserved it. He was absolutely right. Put her in every program, did everything a man should do to deliver his woman from alcoholism. But that last part, he could not do. That part she had to do. And she wasn't willing to do that part because addicts and alcoholics are selfish. They don't care about anyone else but themselves. They don't care how much they hurt their children. Her children were more victims from her sad daughters. And I remember it was one time, oh my God, it was recently. She called me at 4 a.m. And she said, General Mahiaman, someone is raping my daughter behind this door. My daughter called me on the phone. She told me she's being raped. I came to the house. Someone hit me on my head and grabbed my daughter and pulled my daughter in this door. Now we're on video chat. It's 4 a.m. because, of course, I answer my phone by commanding General Yohana's orders all hours of the night. And she Brakathay Hawawaya was shot. And she's on video chat. She's saying, and I said, what? And I'm asking her questions, and she said, the police are on their way. So I'm watching the police. The police come up to her. They're asking her questions. She's saying, kick in this door. Kick in this door right now. My daughter is being raped in that door. They dragged her inside the house. They hit me and took her in. The police are saying, wait a minute, ma'am. I can smell the alcohol on you. Wait a minute. We can't kick in that door. You're clearly drunk. Oh, you're not going to kick in that door? She yells at the cops. I'm yelling at her. Stop yelling at them. The cop says, thank you, sir. I say, cop, listen, excuse me, officer. Okay, is there any way you can maybe call or you can knock on the door or you can see? Now I'm negotiating with the cop, fighting so that she doesn't get arrested. So I'm talking to the cop on the video phone at 4 a.m. We're talking. The cop is refusing to kick in the door because she's clearly drunk. So then I call her daughter. Her daughter gets on the phone. Her daughter isn't in that house. Her daughter is not there. Her mother has been calling her, telling her she's in that house. She's not there at all. The next day, she didn't remember any of it. All right. And Soccer War, of course, called me and did the usual Soccer War thing. How many of you have heard this who've been around? Salakia. Raise your hand. Yeah, get the camera. Turn around the camera. Raise your hand if Soccer War has called you and say, can everyone see the class?
Yes, sir.
Raise your hand if Soccer War said, Salakia, can you please forgive my wife? Raise your hand. If they did, you've heard this, the Salakia, or you've done it before. Why'd you have your hand raised? Oh, you know what I'm talking about. You've had to do this. You too are. Yeah, you've had to do it too. Then you know. Then, right? You love someone that just could not love you, right? I remember you have. I remember you went through the same thing. This brother here had another wife. He had a wife out. Boy, they called me constantly and had so many problems, and he would apologize for her. And he would come and say Salakia for her. And he fought and fought and fought. Just like Captain Soccer War, and you should be rewarded for that, brother. And I want to thank you for your service. You did that. You did that as well. Well, okay, this went on for, 10, 12 years. And this all happened, right? And once again, Captain Soccer War's story is not alone in that if you've loved someone with an addiction, you've had to do this. You've done this. And you've always hoped that your love would bear fruit, right? You've hoped your love would be enough to change them. Well, this week, this sister, Captain Soccer War's wife, I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead. So then later on, finally, she decided that she had been forced to be righteous too much. She couldn't take it, and she could not take the fact that Captain Soccer War had found a woman that could actually return the love that he had for her. And she left Captain Soccer War, and she went and married some other man. Left the truth and had sex with another man, whored herself, betrayed the oath that she took when she received her Hebrew name, and all of the love that all of you gave her, all of the patience that you gave her, brothers and sisters. And she went and put her Facebook picture up, with her new man on Facebook. And 4 days later, she died.
Whoa.
4 days later. And someone called me, 5 a.m. And I, of course, had the dubious task to call Captain Soccer War and inform him about it, that she had died. This is also what happened with the officer here in New Jersey. He also loved his wife till the end, and then his wife also died. And he loved her until the end. The Bible says this: I have maintained my integrity for all of my days, for the rest of my life. It is a terrible thing to love someone who cannot love you because they love an addiction more than you. But your love is not wasted. because that person who you have loved, they will pay for not giving you that love. And you will be rewarded for being willing to love so deeply. And in the UPK, we're built on love. And what you brothers have done is amazing. There's another sister, my God, in New Jersey, the same. She loved this brother. His name was Nabaya, and he was a terrible alcoholic. And this sister, she died. What's her name again? Kapatazar. Kapatazar was one West Side. She was from New Jersey. Her husband was a disgusting drunk. And she loved him and loved him. And she had terrible health problems. I hate to think of. She called me on the phone, and she was struggling with breathing, and Kapatazar died, and Commanding General Yohana paid for her funeral. And then later on, of course, her husband betrayed his oath. And did he ever get a cover? His cover is hanging in our graveyard. Because after the UPK took care of this woman, it's a pivotal time in my life when I had to tell these children that their mother died. I remember someone was there with me that day. Were you there? Yeah, I think Captain Issachar. And I remember because he was so drunk, he couldn't tell her. And so he told me I had to tell her. And I went into his house and had to tell these children their mother had died. And it stained me. And I've kept a lot of stains, and they help me. You understand? They're like calluses or scars that help me. And that day I received the scar that day that I had to tell that brother because he was too drunk that their mother had died. Later on, he still left the truth, but we kept his cover, and that's really all we needed. I pray you all understand that.
Right.
Captain Issachar War is a champion of love. And too many times in this society, you celebrate the villain and not the victim. You do that all the time. You celebrate Mike Tyson. He's a convicted rapist. You celebrate Tupac. He's a convicted rapist. Tupac. Say again?
R. Kelly.
You celebrate R. Kelly. He's a convicted rapist. But you love him. His victims, you don't know their names. In the UPK, we celebrate the victim, especially when the victim is a hero.
Right.
And Captain Issachar War is a hero. Read this precept.
Verse 20. For what glory is it if, when ye be buffeted for your faults, ye shall take it patiently?
So let's say if you're being beat and abused and you deserve it, what glory is that? You deserve this beating. When a drug addict or an alcoholic gets beat, they deserve it. They deserve that beating because they're selfish and cruel. You know, an alcoholic can't even admit they're an alcoholic. Do you know that? You got a whole AA program. The whole program is built on this. Hello, my name is Mahiaman, and I'm an alcoholic. They cannot say that, but they can piss on themselves and vomit on their pants in front of their child. Right. But they cannot just stand up and say, I'm an alcoholic, because they're too proud for that. But they're not too proud to come into your house with their pants down in front of children and vomit all over themselves and piss their pants. But they can't say, I'm an alcoholic. So this program is just built up just to make people say, I'm an alcoholic. In my work, if you want to know a symptom for an alcoholic, they can never say it. So if a brother says he's an alcoholic, he might not be one because he can say it. You understand? That's a symptom. It's a demon. If I say, are you an alcoholic? Let me give you what they'll say. If they are not one, they say, I might be an alcoholic. Maybe I am alcoholic. I drink too much. I could be an alcoholic. If they are definitely an alcoholic, they say, well, I'm not going to say I'm an alcoholic. That ain't true. I might say I drink a little too much. Hey, listen, brother, have you been drinking today? Who knows what they say?
Just a little.
They say earlier every time. Every single time. Earlier. Well, I haven't been drinking today, just earlier. They can never say the words, I'm an alcoholic. The demon will not let them say that, because saying that would be the beginning of accountability. And an alcoholic cannot be accountable for his actions. Who's accountable? the prison system, his mother, his father, society. You're accountable because you don't forgive him enough, and you don't call me, and you don't check up on me. You're the reason I'm sad. They can never be responsible. And this woman was like that. So if she suffers, that's what she deserves. But why are you suffering because you love them? Why do you have to be embarrassed? Why do you have to be physically beaten? Why do you have to be shamed? This man did it and didn't deserve it, and he still did it. Continue.
But if, when ye do well and suffer for it, ye take it patiently.
That's what he did, our patience, 12 years. 12 years. Oh, that's patient, young man. Incident after incident, trauma after trauma, abuse after abuse, shame after shame. And he took it because he made a commitment one day in a bed. In bed one night, he made a commitment and he honored it until death. He did it. Give me the precept I asked you for, Azahab, you had. Now, here we are. That's what Issachar Ward did. Now, here you are. Now, I saw, of course, on Facebook, many people, honoring her. A woman who left the truth, whored on her husband and abandoned her children and hurt her own kids. But I know you honor her. You know why you honor her? For the same reason you honor Mike Tyson and R. Kelly. Because you love the person that makes you feel good. You don't care about the person who did good. You care about the person that makes you feel good. Let me explain to you, brothers. I saw so many rise agains on there. You should bring a thought, slum boy. Let me tell you something. Whoever wrote Rise Again about this sister is weak. You're weak. You're not One West. You don't understand the school. You don't understand integrity. You don't understand love. Especially if you knew she left her husband. Raise your hand if you knew she left her husband and you kept talking to her. Type in the chat room. Whoever knew that she whored herself to Captain Issachar Ward, and you continued to be her friend and talk to her, say it now. Don't you love her? You love her, right? Well, then let's hear it. Whoever was friends with her after she left the truth, after she whored on her husband, you knew she was an alcoholic. You didn't take her to counsel. Say it. I'll wait for a few seconds. Let's see how much you loved her. You don't know what love is. You think love is whoever makes you feel nice. Many of you liked Waraka and you RIP'd her and rise against her because you hate your husband. And you want someone to help you feel good because you can't stand your man and you were calling her talking about your husband. I'm going to find out who you are and kick you out the school. I'm going to get rid of you because you weaken us. And any stupid bitch that would be friends with some woman that whored on her husband is not someone that should be in here because you don't really believe in God. You believe in your own insecurities about your husband. I counsel women all day. You know what I find with a woman out that's a dumb, stupid bitch? She cares about nothing but a man. You ever wonder why a woman stays with a man after her daughter says your boyfriend had sex with me? Because she cares about nothing else. Nothing. Your baby, your mother, her boyfriend could rape you, could molest you. Your mother's not leaving him because your mother doesn't care about anything but the pleasure that a man gives her. So he makes her orgasm. He pays her bills. He gives her money. The children have to deal with what they have to deal with. They got to handle that. You think you love your kids, you love pleasure. And so many of you pleasured in the fact that Waraka talk evil about her husband. So you felt you had a place to talk evil about your husband. I'm going to find you and get rid of you. Who knows why? Because I don't want to have to pay for your funeral. Oh, when she died, you know all I thought about? If she would have died a year earlier, we would have had to pay for her funeral. Thank God it happened when it happened. You better understand where you are. This is not your church. We don't harbor stupid sluts and bitches and weak men in here. If you want to be weak, you can go to the church. That's the home of weak people. In here, we don't celebrate the villain. We raise up the victim. We strengthen the victim. We strengthen the child who was molested. We don't hide the molester in here. That's not this place. That's not what we're going to do in here. This is what you're going to do for me tonight. Do I have anybody that wants to confess that they talked to her after they knew she left the truth? Who did it?
One sister, sir.
What's her name?
Sama.
Samar did it. Yeah, we already dealt with that. Anyone else besides Samar?
Last one.
Okay. Samar was right to confess that. If Samar didn't confess it, it would be a very dark time in New York. A very dark, dark time. Samar has already been punished for her transgression to love, for her transgression to integrity. She's already been punished for her weakness. Just remember this: the grave is not full. That's in the Bible. The grave is not full. There's room for you. There's room for you there. If you're some dumb bitch that is only in the truth because you think you can please your husband enough by faking an Israelite lifestyle so that he won't get another woman, he's getting another woman, and you're going to be exposed to be someone that really doesn't believe in what we believe in. You don't have to be here. You understand? There's a reason we have 2 rows over there and 5 over here. We don't give a fuck about how many women are in here. We don't care. There could be no women seats in here. That's fine with us. Here's what the grace and the mercy of God is. There are women in here that would have never said rise again on a post about Warakah. Never. Because they're strong. And there are sisters in the UPK who they won West. Whew, I mean, they're just, you know what they think? And this is so strange to some of you dumb bitches. They consider Issachar War to be their brother. He's their brother. And this woman whored on their brother. Right. They're done being friends with her. They don't think, some of you think that friendship is about, sex, meaning you're a woman, so we're friends. Do you know how many men we've destroyed in here because they left their woman? We would never let your husband stay in this school if he left you. Never. If your husband leaves you, he gets kicked out of this school. Why? Because God said this: it is neither male nor female, bond nor free, but all are co-heirs to the kingdom of heaven. We don't rest judgment because you're a woman or because you're a man. If your husband leaves you, he can't be in the school. We kick him out the school because he did not love you for the rest of his life. You won't love your brother for the rest of his life? You'll betray us. Why? Because she has a vagina? You'll betray your brother? You should go to church. You can't be in here. You have to leave here. I'm going to hunt out and hunt down any woman that thinks that allegiance is based on who has your sexual body parts. I'm going to hunt down any man that thinks that allegiance is based on sexual body parts. Allegiance is based on righteousness to God's law and nothing else. Give me that precept I asked for.
1 Corinthians 5:11. But now I have written unto you not to keep company. If any man that is called a brother.
That is called what?
Any man that is called
That is called what?
Any man that is called a brother.
The Bible says keep not company with anyone who is called a brother. While Rakai at one time was called a sister until she whored on her husband and left the truth and then put it on Facebook. And then some slut put a thumbs up on it and said it's good, I'm not paying for your funeral. I'm not doing. You should leave the truth now, because if you wait a few weeks, I might have to pay for your funeral, and I don't want to pay for it. I don't want to go to Genoiana and pay for some slut's funeral who really doesn't believe in the truth. Leave the truth today. You know what? Go out in the world and get that handsome man out there for you. You can do bad all by yourself. You know that, right? Woman, thou art loosed. You don't need to put up with this. You don't believe in polygamy. Polygamy is wrong, isn't it? It's wrong. Go out there and go, so I don't have to pay for your funeral. The Bible says, keep not company with anyone who is called brother. We call them brother. We accept you. We love you. We pay your rent, bail you out of jail, feed you, forgive you for 12 years. Don't keep company with anyone who is called brother. Go ahead.
Any man that is called a brother, be a fornicator.
Be a what?
Be a fornicator.
Be a what? So, and this is what I love about the school too. There are people in your life in the world. Oh, now I get it, Captain Cesaria. Now I know why you love people in the truth even after they leave the truth and slut themselves out, because that's what you do with your family in the world. It just came to me. You have a family that lives in your house who your uncle molested you, your mother's a drug addict, your father is a drug addict, your sister steals from you, and you all show up for Christmas dinner together. Now I get it, because I wonder, why would you still talk to someone after they betray the Lord? Because that's what you do with your mom and your family. Oh, you didn't understand this kind of family. See, this is a conditional family. This is a different kind of family, right? We're not blood related. What relates us is our fervent belief in the will of God. That's how we're related. These are not my cousins or brothers. We're related because we believe in the same thing. So once you stop believing in that, we're not brothers anymore. That ends that. I'm not like your cousin who you sit across the table from who fingered you. I'm not like him. I'm not one of your fam. I'm not that uncle that you sitting eating the mashed potatoes looking at him knowing he molested you. Hey, how you doing? I'm not that uncle. This is the crazy one. You got an uncle who's in your life that the kids can't go see. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. Listen, you got an uncle. He comes over. He's in the family. He's there, but you won't let your daughter go over there. Why don't you just stop him from coming over? I'll never get that. He gets to come over, but he can't be alone with the kids. Why don't you just end your relationship with that pervert? You don't do that, because this family is not conditional. I'll help you with understanding. This is a conditional family.
Right.
We're all here because we agree on one thing, that we will submit our own will to God's will. If you don't do that, you're not in this family anymore. And we're going to hang your cover in our graveyard. And we're going to take that head wrap off of you and forget you ever were born. And then maybe one day I'll be talking about you here. I'll be sitting here talking about you. Like I warned her, I would be talking about her. Keep going.
Or covetous.
Or covetous. What does it mean to be covetous? Someone that plots on stealing. Keep going.
Or an idolater.
Or an idolater. An idolater is someone that worships, objects like crystals, like Christian crosses, things like that. Keep going.
Or a railer.
A railer, someone that is cruel. That she was also cruel. She railed on people and she hated women. Oh my God. Hated you, blocked you. I'm sure she blocked you about 10 times. Block you all the damn time, every damn week. Blocking some woman, being cruel and evil to some woman, berating soccer war constantly in public. Keep going.
Or a drunkard.
Or what?
A drunkard.
Or what? Say again.
A drunkard.
That's in the Bible. Don't keep company with them. You can't be in here and do these things. You got to go. Sisters, if you're talking bad about your husband to other sisters, I'm going to find out. Or I won't. You understand? Right? You get it. You know. Everybody knows, right? Everybody knows. Is there anything else?
Or an extortioner.
Or an extortioner, someone that uses crime to get money. What's the point of all of this? You better be strong in here. You better celebrate the brother who kept his oath and not the sister that broke it. This is the wrong place for that. Everyone understand. Give me Godspeed. Look up that word in Corinthians. Godspeed. You got more. Please.
With such an one, no, not to eat.
With such an one, don't eat with that person. Stay away from them. Even though they are called brother, don't eat with them. Keep no company with them. And we'll tell you who to do it with by kicking them out to school. We're telling you who's a drunkard, who's an idolater, who's a fornicator. We're telling you. We kick them out to school to let you know, stay away from them. If you hang around them, then you're not with us. Then you aren't with us, then you're with them. And they can pay for your funeral. Anyone else? Give me Godspeed. That's the last precept. Go ahead. Bid them not Godspeed. Is that the right one? Go ahead. Before you go, Alexa, what does Godspeed mean?
Godspeed usually refers to good fortune, success, used as a wish to a person starting on a journey, a new venture, etc.
Alexa, stop. Go ahead and read.
2 John, verse 10. If there come any unto you, and bring not this doctrine.
Read that again.
If there come any unto you, and bring not this doctrine.
If there be any unto you who does not bring this doctrine, if there's a woman that says a man having another wife is wrong, that is not this doctrine. That's not what we teach. It's what the priests teach in the Catholic Church. It's what the reverends teach. It's what your child molester believes. They teach that, but it's not what we teach. If there come any unto you that teach not this doctrine, keep going.
Receive him not into your house.
Read that again.
Receive him not into your house.
No, he can't come in. He can't come in my house. He can probably come in yours because you're desperate for friendship. Some of you women are so desperate for friendship, you're an embarrassment because you need someone to talk to so terribly that you'll talk to a drunk and a liar. And you don't care because she'll sit on the phone and hear you griping about your husband. She'll listen to you. And you don't care what type of person she is. Here's what God said. Read that again.
If there come any unto you, and bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house.
Go ahead.
Neither bid him Godspeed.
Neither bid him Godspeed. Meaning, not only can he not come in your house, you cannot wish him well. You cannot wish him success. You cannot say, well, Lord be with you and may God help you. That's in the Bible. You cannot wish him success. We don't wish people success that don't teach what we teach. Why? Because the Bible says so. It's there. And you don't get this because you don't have loyalty. You're disloyal. You don't know what loyalty means. You've never been trained in it. In your mind, your friends would ever make you feel good. We laugh and get drunk together. I talk about, what's the word they use? I vent to her. She vents to me. We're venting bitches. That's what we do. We vent to each other. We vent. I talk about my husband and how I disagree with what got said in the class last night. She vents to me about her husband. There's a big enough grave for both of you. Keep doing it. As long as I don't have to pay for it. Keep going.
For he that biddeth him Godspeed is partaker of his evil deeds.
See, that's the Bible, dumb bitch. That's what it says. You don't have to listen. You don't have to like it, but you just can't be one of us. And here's the good news. There are women that are one of us. Oh, there are women. My God. There are women that consider a man their brother, even though he's a man and not a woman who doesn't understand their tears and how they don't want their husband to have another wife. I know you're jealous. I know your whole life is jealousy. Your whole existence is being jealous over other women and complaining and having insecurities about your own failings in life. I get it. But there are women that actually believe in this. They're not here just for sex. They're not here just for a man. There are women that would be here if it had nothing to do with the man. They believe in it. And we'll just keep them and throw you away. Read that last part again.
2 John 11. For he that biddeth him Godspeed is partaker of his evil deeds.
If you wish them well, you're an alcoholic. You're an abuser. You're cruel. You're disloyal. If you wish them well. Now, I know that goes against your, I'm a woman and I just love everybody. And I just want to be nice. My mommy was nice to the man that molested me. I'll be nice to her. I'm nice to everybody that abuses me. I'm nice to all my uncles, my mom. Even though she left the truth, I can't stop being her friend. You're a stupid bitch and you're just as wicked as her. And the grave is not ever full. There's room for you in there. That's the Bible. That's the Bible. This is what we're going to do. We're going to celebrate Captain Issachar War. He never left the truth.
Right.
He never betrayed his oath. He maintained his integrity until his burden went in the ground. And those children that went through the same thing, they loved their mother until their burden went in the ground. They did it. They suffered until the end. All of them. This is what you're going to do. If you're a stupid and dumb bitch who I haven't found out about yet, who was talking to her, anyone who said, I'll miss Waraka, I love Waraka, she's sweet and tender, you're a liar and you don't know her and you're just stupid and lying and trying to have allegiance to women who are out of order because you're out of order. You're going to go and you're going to donate money to the Memphis school. That's what you're going to do. You're going to go to Captain Issachar War. You're going to go to that website and you're going to put a picture up on Facebook or Instagram or whatever you do. And you're going to talk about your brother, Captain Issachar War. And you're going to pray to God one day that your husband will have his kind of patience because you're a dumb bitch just like her. You're vile just like her. You argue and belittle him and go on Facebook and say things that are private and embarrassing for nothing, simply because it makes you feel better. You better donate money to the Memphis school, to Captain Issachar War, or else tomorrow I'll be going down the list of, I'll always love Waraka. She's my favorite girl. I'm gonna go down the list. And I'm going to pick out the names. And I'm going to have some captain call you and see if you donated money to the Memphis school. And if you didn't do it, we're going to have a discussion. With that, pass the class over to the officer.
All right.
Osai in Christ, if I may, Officer Shaw, can you get that from Babaka Shaw? If I may, I would like Mathania, stand up, Babaka Shaw. I would like to acknowledge my rib, all right, for her loyalty. Osai in Christ, I would like to publicly acknowledge her. I don't know, I'm not used to this. Am I supposed to take this, this cover off? I got her some flowers, all right? And I would like to publicly come up here. Don't be Issachar. Outside Christ. And I would like to acknowledge her for her loyalty and also all the work. She is definitely a helpmate that helped me do the work of the Lord. And I would like to publicly acknowledge her. I don't know if I'm supposed to take this off. You know, forgive me, but this is for you.
And she doesn't shame you. Officer Yatazar. And she doesn't shame you.
God. He just won that black rights. That's why he said that. Outside Christ.
That's right. Men of Israel, Madian, which means to stand. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Madian Shabbat. Amadium, Barak. Yajimata, which means hands down, soft faces, sisters. Amadium, which means to stand. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amadium Shabbat. Amadium, Barak. Yajimata, which means hands down, classes mixed.